terms of Local Government Municipal Systems Act, Act 2000, Act 32 of 2000. It's now time, councillors, if anyone of you can benefit from any number of these points on the agenda, it's time to put up your hand and tell me you have interested, and we will ask you to, when you come to that one, to excuse yourself. Is there anyone that can be linked to any point on this agenda? When I don't hear anything, I suppose there's no linkage between us, between the councillors and the said number. The disclosure of benefits in terms of Schedule 2, Section 5, Code of Conduct for Officials of the Local Government Municipal Systems Act, Act 32 of 2000. Is there any one of our officials that want to put up their hand and tell me they link to it? Otherwise, if not, we might go on.
Councillors, good morning. We had a problem with our Wi-Fi. I just want to check. Can you hear me now?
I hear absolute silence, so I believe there's no one that can benefit. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, Speaker. Yes.
All of you officials.
Then it's time for roll call.
Ahmed, Romans 6. Confirmation and signing of previous council minutes. I bring to you minutes of the ordinary council meeting held on Thursday, the 29th of April 2021. Folios number 493, italics 8269. Can I have a proposer and a seconder for the correctness of this minutes?
Not yet.
Speaker, Councillor Reuters propose.
Councillor Reuters. And do I have a seconder for Councillor Reuters?
Councillor van Dijk, Speaker. Good morning.
Councillor van Dijk, thank you very much.
Councillor.
We will go on to the next one.
Ons gaan aan. Councillor Buddha.
The next one is Roman 7.
Good morning, colleagues.
Cognizance executive mayors and deputy executive mayors resolutions in terms of delegated authority as provided for in section 59(1)(a) of the Act on Local Government Municipal Systems, and that's Act 32 of 2000. I bring to you the items as on my screen. Items number FC 21 of 05-2021 up till FC 27 of 05-2021. The next one, I will bring to you numbers.
Good morning, Speaker.
G18 of 05-2021 up till G24 of 05-2021.
Councillor Gous.
The next items, the numbers are CS 10 of 05-2021 to CS 12 of 05-2021.
Cedric.
The next items, items number PE 60 of 05-2021 up till PE 72 of 05-2021. And then the next one,
Councillor Comfort.
Items number T15 of 05-2021 up till T19 of 05-2021.
Morning, I'll be with you in a minute.
The next items number CG19 of 05-2021 up till CG23 of 05-2021. Then the last one of these, items number UB10 of the month of April 2021 up till UB11 of the month of May 2021. Can I have a proposer and a seconder for this, please?
Thank you, Speaker. I propose.
Thank you. Proposed by Councillor Anton de Lemaine. Do I have a seconder?
Second by Councillor Kannemeyer, Speaker.
Goeiemôre, Mama Joel.
Thank you, councillors. Colin,
Julia?
can you shift it a little upwards, please?
Not yet.
Thank you.
Van Dijk, excuse me.
Then
Good morning, Speaker
I'm
and
at
colleagues. I'm present.
Roman 8,
Good morning, Councillor.
cognizance, municipal manager resolutions in terms of delegated authority as per council resolution E127 of 11/2008 as provided for in section 59(1)A of the Act on Local Government Municipal Systems, Act number 32 of 2000. The numbers there started with GM 2204/2021 up till GM 28 of 05/2021. Do I have a proposer and seconder for this for cognizance?
Thank you, Speaker. I will propose.
Proposed by Councillor Anton de la Main, seconder.
Councillor Leon van Dijk, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Leon van Dijk. And then just give me a few seconds, please. I just want to check if the mayor has logged in. Yes, I've got the answer. The mayor is hier. Burgemeester, welkom. Ek gaan vir u kans gee as u reg is om te begin. We will call on the mayor as soon as he is fine with the PC and so that stuff, that he can take the floor. Thank you, Councillor Alderman Harry Levendahl. Ek hoor nie.
Chief, ons is maar hier. Kan jy my hoor?
Seems to me there's a slight delay in the sound. We're checking on that. And the mayor will be on air.
Ek sal jou hulp inroep, Raadslid Baron, as ek jou nodig het om op jou horlosie te kom kyk. Myne sê daar's nog 2 minute.
Speaker, dis die laaste vergadering van die 5 jaar. Lyk my jy begin om rof en jy eind om rof.
Councillors, we still haven't heard about Councillor of Alderman Byman and Alder Lady de Klerk and Comfort. But seeing that most of us are here,
Speaker?
this one, yes.
Speaker, I'm very sorry. Councillor Byman, standing next to the road, are going to send a recovery to fetch him, so to make them safe. So he will be in a few seconds.
Thank you very much. Councillors, Councillor Baron mentioned the last meeting. I've got bad news and I've got good news. The bad news might be that we will be having a special council meeting on the 22nd of October. The good news is there will not be committees. There's a few rollovers that we have to see through, and otherwise we might have we will miss a few council meetings, seeing the time frame that will be coming up after the election. So I want you to be here at the 22nd of October, usual time at 9. And then on that day, I want you, each and everyone, to bring in your tablet, and not only the tablet, the charger, the keyboard, and everything that's connected with municipal equipment. You must bring them in that morning so that we can clear your name of having municipal stuff in your possession. So please play the game and be there. And then, unfortunately, I've sent out a message last night about the last chance for the forms to be handed in for a stipend. time is up now. We'll put it on a courier this morning so that it can be in Cape Town by the 1st of October. That will be tomorrow. So I'm sorry for you that those who haven't handed in your forms for a stipend, that's been ended by this when we now start. And then it's 9 o'clock. I want to start. We should have had a pastor with us. He's not here anymore. So can you please bow your heads and I'll do a prayer. Baie dankie Hemelse Vader dat ons as 'n familie van 27 kinders van U vandag ons vergadering in U naam kan opmaak. Dat ons weet U is hier, dat U elke dag U hand van beskerming oor ons hou. Here, ons sê dankie vir 'n gees wat ons kon ervaar. Here, wil U gee dat wanneer ons klaar is hiermee met ons pligte by die munisipaliteit, ons nog steeds die familie sal bly, wat U ons in laat bind het aan mekaar. Seën Here elkeen vanmôre wat in hierdie vergadering is, seën die wat ingeskakel is, Here, wat luister, wat belangstel in ons dorp. Here, waar ons 'n verkiesing tegemoet gaan, waar gemoedere soms hoog kan loop, wil U die arbiter wees, wil U vir ons kalmte gee, en wil U vir ons daarop wys om elke dag aan U hand vas te hou. Seën Here elkeen van hierdie dorp van ons, seën elkeen in hierdie land. Ons weet Here wat die probleme is, ons weet hoe ons dit kan oplos, as ons dit nie saam met U doen, Here, is ons verlore. Ons vra dit, dat U genade oor ons sal seëvier, om Jesus Christus wil. Amen. Dankie. Nee, dis fyn. Ons kan aangaan. Is ons gaste hier, Ronel? Then who's in charge this morning? Is it Tertia? Carlin, kan jy asseblief vir my oopmaak? Baie dankie. Applications for leave. I haven't received any applications for leave, and I haven't had a notice from older lady, the clerk, Councillor Mari. Are you in at the moment?
Ek is hier. Ekskuus tog, speaker. Ek is hier. Baie dankie.
Dankie, older lady.
Speaker.
Yes, sir.
Councillor Julia se hoko sukkel om in te kom, sy sukkel om in te kom by ons vergadering.
Kan ek nie tussen chip? Ek het dieselfde ding gedoen. Ek het op die verkeerde blokkie ingeteken. En toe hoor ek Julia skree benoud. En toe antwoord ek en toe teken ek af en toe teken ek aan op die volgende blokkie. So daar's 2 blokkies wat vanoggend vir jou wys wat jy kan aanteken op die raadsvergadering, en dit is heel waarskynlik waar Julia nog vashang. Ek noem dit net, hoor.
Ek is nou speaker. Goeiemôre.
Môre Julia, ek hoor vir jou.
Ek het nou daarom deurgekom. Ai.
Okay, dan Councillor Bandesi, are you in the house? Not yet, and then we can go on. Ahmed, I haven't received any applications, so these people that's not here, that will be marked as absent. Disclosure of interest in terms of Schedule 1 Code of Conduct of Councillors in the terms of the Local Government Municipal Systems Act, Act 32 of 2000. Is there anyone that can be linked to one of these points on the agenda? It's time to put up your hand and let me know about it.
Speaker, if I may mark here, I would like to be excused in E254.
254.
Yes, Speaker, 254.
I'll take note of it. Thank you, Councillor. Anyone else? If not, we can go on to the next one. Colin? Roman 5. Disclosure of benefits in terms of Schedule 2, Section 5 Code of Conduct for Officials of the Local Government Municipal Systems Act, Act 32 of 2000. Is there any one of our directors that might be linked to one of these points on the agenda? It's time to come in now. If I hear silence, there's no one that can be linked, and then we go on. I'm at Roman 6, confirmation and signing of previous council minutes and the minutes of special council meeting held on Wednesday, the 25th of August, 2021, folios number 1237A up till 1237J. And minutes ordinary council meeting held on August the 26th, folios number 1237K up to 1467. Can I have a proposer and a seconder that we can take cognizance of these minutes?
Speaker, if you allow me, thank you. My hand is up. May I proceed?
Alderman Groenewald, you're welcome. You have the floor.
Thank you so much, Speaker. Now, I would just like to present the following corrections to the House. If you have a look at P1054C, please, it's no reservations, not with reservations be accepted. If that can be corrected, and then the acting speaker, not speaker, the same page. Ooh, there goes my laptop. Okay, it's on again, sorry. And then on page 1352 to 1355, E218, paragraph 2, it's just a typo. It's principal and not principal. Thank you so much, Speaker. With that, I propose that we adopt the minutes as being correct. Thank you.
Thank you. That's proposed by Alderman Groenewald with the corrections. Can I have a
Thank you, Speaker. I would gladly, with the corrections made, I will second.
Thank you, Councillor Delamain.
Thank you, sir.
We're at Romans 7. Excuse toch?
Sorry, my hand is up.
Councillor Gous, yes.
Thank you, Speaker. Just regarding the correctness of the minutes, I concur with Alderman Groenewald about the without reservation and not with reservation. But Speaker, for the correction of the minutes, I'd also like to draw Council's attention to item E128. It is noted that that item was accepted unanimously. It was about the netball courts in Hartenbos, the league being established there. The ACDP abstained on that item. And then also item 221, the Vincent Park application.
Just 1 second. Are you not noted on that one?
I'm not noted on that one, Speaker.
Okay, thank you.
And then I appreciate it. Thank you. And then also on item E221, the ACDP abstained on that item. You can go and listen at 1 hour, 39 minutes. And then that's the extent of the corrections from my side. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, lady, not older lady, Councillor Gous. You still have to go to earn 15 points, and then I will call you older lady.
No, it's the fact that you're calling me older lady all the time.
Yeah, but that was disguised. You should have listened better. Okay, that's been we're at 7. Director Venter.
Speaker, thank you very much. I'm just excusing myself from item E253 as I'm still a director to that non-profit company. Thank you, Speaker.
253. I've noted it, Mr. Venter. Thank you. Excuse me. I'm at Roman 7. Cognizance, executive mayors and deputy executive mayors resolutions on terms of delegated authority as provided from in section 59A of the Act of Local Government Municipal Systems. I'm not going to read each and every one of these. I did this items F7, 47 up to item number UB21. I think you all made it your own. Can I have a proposer and a seconder for the correctness of it?
Thank you, Speaker. I propose.
Proposed by Councillor Anton Delamain. Seconder.
Speaker Leon van Dijk will second.
Seconded by Councillor van Dijk. Thank you, councillors. Then And the next one, cognizance municipal manager resolutions in terms of delegated authority. As per Council Resolution 127 of 11/2008, as provided for in Section 59(1)(a) of the Act on Local Government Municipal Systems, 32 of 2000. That's GM 55 of 08/2021 up till GM 66 of 09/2021. Can I have a proposer and a seconder on this one?
Yes, Speaker. Councillor Leon van Dijk will propose.
Thank you, Councillor van Dijk. Seconder
Thank you, Speaker. Thank you, Speaker. I will second it.
Seconded by Councillor Anton de la Main. Thank you, councillors. We now to the highlight of the day, communication of our executive mayor, Alderman Dirk Coetzee. I've got a typo here that says H. Levendaal. Please look at that to have it rectified, please. Mayor, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Speaker.
Just 1 second, please.
Good morning, colleagues. I'm going to start off this term of the current municipal council is coming to an end with the last council meeting today, 30 September, and it is fitting to reflect on some of the successes we have achieved over the past 5 years. Obviously, there will still be another council meeting, but that will not be a full council meeting. As far as I understand, that will be a special council meeting. I want to thank our residents for their continued support and for diligently paying your municipal dues despite the debilitating effect of COVID-19 pandemic on the lives and livelihoods and all the challenges and negative effects that is currently experienced in our town and on the local economy. I also want to thank the administration and especially the Directorate for their continued commitment to service excellence. Several leading rating agencies recognized Mossel Municipality as the most financially stable local government in South Africa. It's no mean feat considering the dire economic conditions or the dire economic conditions in our country currently. Mossel Municipality, however, may rightfully boast with the 7 clean audits by the Auditor General's Office over the past 9 years. The municipality was consistently top scored by the esteemed international ratings agency Ratings Africa since 2017, when Mossel Bay shared first place with Swartland Municipality. In 2018, Swartland Municipality pipped us with the top position when Mossel Bay was placed second. So even since and consistently, Mossel Bay Municipality was awarded first place as the most financial sustainable local authority in the country. Ratings Africa's index matched the ratings agency Good Governance Africa, which awarded Mossel Bay the first overall position as the top performer in their Governance Performance Index in 2019. As achievements are highlighted, as it demonstrates that the outgoing council has always placed the best interest of our community uppermost and has used the municipal resources to the best advantage of our residents throughout effective service delivery. Fighting COVID-19 remains particularly challenging, and I'm proud to say that Council rallied behind our community and supported the indigent, poor and needy households with food parcels until the relevant government departments could take over the distribution last year. The Council also offered relief for businesses and residents hard hit by the effect of the coronavirus. In recent months, the Council often mentioned an increased focus on community safety. I'm happy to mention that Council has not only approved the implementation or implemented a dedicated Directorate of Community Safety, but the long-mooted Joint Interdisciplinary Command Centre will soon become a reality. Additions to the municipal establishment will result in the employment of more law enforcement officials. and plans are progressing well to establish a municipal reaction unit to address community safety concerns more effectively. The initiative follows the fully fledged mobile command center handed over to Mossel-based Fire Rescue and Disaster Management Services. These units have technology that can track and weather and other information necessary to inform command decisions, and are supplied with the necessary radio control computer and camera facilities. At the time, this was the first in the Garden Route district. Mossel Bay is one of the very few municipalities in the country to offer a 24-hour traffic and law enforcement service without using any static cameras. This service will also be expanded in the coming years. Speaker, at this stage, I can also mention that we want to thank all our community partners who's playing a huge role in assisting us, rolling out at this stage, I think almost in the vicinity of 100 cameras, and they're also at this stage supplying the backbone that will help render the services to our central command. Obviously, there's still quite a few challenges. At the start of this process, and I've received report yesterday evening as well that the center, everything is going according to plan, and we are looking at finalization of the center of the 9th of December. Our other challenges is obviously to also have cameras rolled out all over town, and especially to our less affluent areas, and then obviously to the more rural areas. But that is definitely a challenge that the next council will have to work hard at. New infrastructure development was not limited to safety concerns only. Residents benefited from the new regional cemetery that had to be established as the existing cemeteries were running out of space. With the inevitable loss of lives resulting from COVID-19, the visionary planning and investment in infrastructure have proven to be prudent. Recreational facilities were also supported, with a new soccer field being built in Wolverdans and 2 new libraries opened, one in Herbertsdale and the other in Brandwag. The municipality has recently communicated the preparations are in full swing for the Western Cape to host the 2023 Netball World Cup. For this purpose, new netball facilities are built in Hartenbos that will also provide for the envisaged regional, national event in international or even international tournaments. Some away matches and preparations for the Netball World Cup tournament will likely take place then in Mossel Bay. Mossel Bay Municipality was also a trendsetter with the first ever in South Africa quarterly hazardous waste open days, which were first introduced in November 2016. This initiative has since also been introduced by neighboring municipalities. This initiative was preempted by the introduction of a 3-bag waste system, and that was also introduced in 2017. This has halved the amount of dumped household waste from 3,500 tons per month to 1,700 tons in 2021, resulting in considerable savings for ratepayers. And Speaker, those who read the items will also have seen in the committees items in that report that for the past month that tonnage was 1,500 tons, and that 2,273 tons were recycled. So that department is also doing a sterling job. Thank you very much for that. Mossel Bay Municipality also invested in the expanding and upgraded Kwanangaba waste transfer station. The facility now caters to various waste streams. It is licensed to temporarily store, sort, shred, chop, grind, and bale waste. The facility is open to the public 7 days a week. Building contractors no longer have to travel to Grootbrak River, as building rubble may be dumped at this facility, albeit a small fee applicable to contractors and businesses only. The public may use the facility free of charge to dispose of household and most kinds of hazardous household waste. Hopefully, this will help also to encourage people to rather go to Grootbrak than to illegally dump. Our term in office started on a high note with winning the Kwela Town of the Year award in 2017. The first prize was a television marketing package amounting to 1 million on CakeNet, 1 million rand. The council has worked particularly hard to stimulate tourism to benefit the hospitality trade, where scores of residents are employed. The strategy included upgrades to the iconic point area and the restoration of the tourist center, the development and implementation of Mossel Bay Heritage Route in the central business district, where the first of the newly designed resting stations were installed, started at the George Road and also one in front of tourism. And then for this term, I think there's 5 or 6 resting stations that also will be rolled out soon. And we're all looking forward to that, and that will then form part of the newly to be established tourism route or heritage route throughout Mossel Bay. Also, the Great Escape to Mossel Bay campaign amid the COVID-2019 restrictions primarily attracted South African tourists to Mossel Bay with resounding success. Council invested in the youth of our town with the Grootbrak River Youth Cafe, where numerous programs and events are offered regularly to the young people. Mossel Bay has every reason to be proud of the Junior Town Council, and it is one of the few towns monitoring the youth leaders. And I've also met with them and asked them what they were busy with. Sometimes we know about the Youth Council, but we're not totally aware of what they're doing. And I thought it might be a good thing to work closer together with them. And yeah, it was quite inspiring to have meetings with them and to hear what they are doing. And yeah, it's encouraging to also hear the new innovative ideas from their side. Also, Mossel Bay is probably the only municipality in the country with a rural office that focuses on the interests and opportunities for youth and residents in the rural communities. The council has worked particularly hard to stimulate the economy and attract investors to Mossel Bay. Infrastructure development such as the Louis Fourie Road's first phase has been completed. I can just mention at this stage that I understood that the contract for the upgrading of the second phase of Louis Fourie will be awarded during October. And I've mentioned at the meeting last night that for the established 3 years that they will be busy with construction, I suppose that council will also, we will receive a lot of complaints and maybe also a few extra grey hair. But obviously, with infrastructure, the growing of infrastructure, there's always a bit of unfortunate situations and frustrations to the community, but that leads obviously to better infrastructure for the future. The R102 Freemersheim Road and Long Street in Grootbrak River has been upgraded. The planning and work to upgrade the eastern section of Louis Fourie Road, funded by the Western Cape Provincial Government, are in progress, as I've mentioned. Certain municipal bulk services are being adapted for this reason as well. Several large-scale infrastructure projects have also been undertaken. International relations with, among others, the city government of Denpasar of Indonesia, focused on building trade relations and resulted in a successful twinning agreement. Mossel Bay intends to become energy self-sufficient and has been named one of the 6 towns in the Western Cape that will be supported by the provincial governments in this endeavour. The project, once completed, will likely enable the town to escape load shedding in the future, and hopefully we will also be able to lower our electricity or energy prices due to cheaper energy that we will be able to acquire. Among the highlights of this term was the council's investment in local economic development. The Kwano Business Park in KwaNoNaba and the upgrading of the Almeida beehives are ideal for small business development. Further efforts will follow in the next term to create even more opportunities for all. It has always been the council's focus that residents should experience basic service delivery second to none. Much was done to maintain service level standards for municipal services, such as the maintenance of roads, sewer networks, water supply, street lighting, amongst others, and to keep pace with the growth that our town is currently experiencing. Residents are reminded of the recent mention of the Fowler Valley Reservoir project that involved the construction of a new concrete water retaining reservoir for potable use for the greater Hartenbos area. The Hartenbos water purification works was also upgraded, and teams are currently implementing sewerage upgrades in the Tergniet-Reebok area. Mossel Bay is also home to an award-winning two-song center, with the manager Nomzi Jiga awarded the best two-song center manager in South Africa at the National Two-Song Service Center 20 years celebration, and I was also in the fortunate position to attend that with her. On this occasion, the Two-Song Center Mossel Bay received 2 first runner-up awards as well, one for outstanding partnerships and the other for being an outstanding urban hub. It is rewarding to note that this center was expanded during this term at a considerable cost to also include a post office, again ensuring more services to our people close to their homes. Speaker, we know that the post office did indicate we've invited them to do a ribbon cutting, and at that late stage then they've mentioned that unfortunately they don't have money to now move into this building that we've actually planned with them and built for them. At this stage we did receive correspondence which was positive, and that I suppose will come to council then soon. These are but a few of the highlights of the past term, Speaker, and I want to thank the residents for their continued trust and cooperation. I think I must make mention of all our partners in Mossel Bay who've worked throughout this term with us. We're very fortunate that we've got a community. This council has got a whole of society approach, but the community also adopted that. They took our hands. It started right at the beginning of this term, as I've mentioned, the Mossel Bay Town of the Year. It's due to the residents and all the organizations in our town that worked diligently with us to achieve that or to obtain that. And obviously, we are very proud of each and every award that we receive. We use that to market Mossel Bay as a destination where people want to be, where people want to go or come, where people would like to invest. And obviously, this is all important so that business can be established in our town to create more jobs for our people. Speaker, I want to thank my colleagues for this term. I want to thank the administration once again for their hard work that they're doing, and I thank you very much.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you for your kind words you brought to us. Yeah, councillors, that should have been our last meeting of the year. And as I said, there will be a special council meeting on the 22nd. Please take note of that. Then this morning, we had long time due certificates that have to be handed out. And with the COVID and being hit by COVID, that it didn't happen. But now, seeing that we're at the end of our term, we want to bring in a few people that put added value to Mossel Bay, and we want to thank them for it. One can never thank someone that have put his whole life on stake. How do you say thank you and only give him a certificate? But I think that's the best we can do this morning, hand out certificates. I feel very comfortable this morning. I've got my doctor inside, and now nothing can happen with me, seeing that she's always looking that we are healthy and not wealthy, but healthy. Dr. Helmi, baie dankie dat jy vandag gekom het. Ek weet dit is vir jou 'n moeilike dag om jou man se toekenning en postuum te ontvang. Maar dit wat julle in Mossel Bay doen word raak gesien. Baie dankie daarvoor. Ek vra dan nou vir burgemeester om vorentoe te kom. Mayor, will you come to the ring and present the plates? Thank you very much. It's lekker om jou te sien. Yeah, I will read it out. Exceptional service delivery and loyalty towards Mossel Bay Municipality. Late Dr. Paul Rosenbaum was head of the Mossel Bay Provincial Hospital and a role player in primary health care in Mossel Bay District since the April of the year 2016. He contributed to the latest development in dealing with COVID-19 pandemic and is worthy the honor of Council's commendation certificate. Dr. Helmi Pretorius, who will receive this plaque in the honor of the late Dr. Paul Rosenbaum. Baie geluk. Jy kan nog 'n bietjie sit as jy wil bywoon of jy kan jou werk gaan klaarmaak. Omsien na die welde en weer van ons siek mense. The next one, Wade Shaw and Paulus Barnard. Will you please come in? Sê weer?
Quentin Leonard is siek. Hy's nie.
Okay, dus ek maak vir Goed, ek lees dan. A heroic act in serving and protecting the community. Mr. Shaw Barnett illustrated exceptional heroism by saving a lady from drowning at Diets Beach on 12th of February 2021. Wade and Paulus, I want to congratulate you on what you did to the people in Mossel by putting us on the map. Thank you very much.
Mooi dag.
Ons volgende is, kan maar inkom. Die All Saints, leier van die All Saints Brigade. Ek lees voor. Exceptional achievement and development celebrating 100 years of child and youth development within the community. All sides in a interdenominational child and youth development in the community. Children sign up in the organization and have been trained in discipline, leadership, honesty, caring, and to play various instruments. Now, I think many years ago, I was a youngster and it was in Great Black River, and that was my first connection with the brigade. And I asked my grandfather, now what is this? And he said to me, that's the youngsters from Great Black River, where my great-grandfather lived. And they bring joy to the people in town, especially around the Christmas time when they come with the brass band and put some trust in us in our future. You might be one of those, I don't know, but you were one of the future. And today, you busy training people for the future. I want to thank the brigade for what they did and will do in the past of Mossel Bay. Thank you very much.
Self 50 jaar deels, né? That's it. Baie dankie. Weer werk, dankie.
Ons volgende is Exceptional Service Delivery and Loyalty towards Mossel Bay Municipality. Ons het die naam hier van Marika Zeeman, Uriel Daniel Graaf, Lordnie Skeepers, Winifred Buys, Sonwabo Deniso en dan ongelukkig afwesig volgend is Quentin Leonard. Maar Quentin Leonard is net so deel van hierdie groep soos wat elkeen van u is. Baie geluk met die verdien van hierdie sertifikate. Burgemeester, en as ek dan die blou span hier voor my sien, dan wil ek vir hulle sê dankie. Buiten dit waarvoor julle nou hierdie toekenning kry vir dit hulle elke dag in Mossel Bay doen om te sorg dat ons mense veilig is. Dis nie elke dag maklik om kwyt aangespreek te word as jy jou werk doen nie. Maar ons neem kennis van dit wat julle aan Mossel Bay doen.
Congratulations. Okay.
Ja, hy extra een het jy hom nou bygegee, Quentin. Dis reg.
Baie dankie vir julle goeie diens in ons gemeenskap. Waardeer ek.
The next two is for the exceptional service delivery and loyalty towards Mossel Bay Municipality. On the 30th of April 2020, one of the refuse workers, Ashwin Losper, found mortars and a black bag in Jooste Steinberg Street, Bayview. He called the driver of the compactor, Charles Munro, to have a look and identify the mortars. The office was radioed to call the police, and in the black bag with mortars would have been compacted. The compaction of the waste would have been ignited. The mortars and the explosion would have been caused a lot of damage and injuries. En ek kan nie vir u genoeg sê hoe gevaarlik 'n mortier is nie. Challa en Ashwin, baie geluk en baie dankie dat julle Mossel Bay se naam hoog hou. Goed man, dankie. Ja, ek kan net hulle name lees.
Dankie vir julle goeie werk.
Eigenlijk, Charles.
Julle saam een vat?
Ja, asseblief. Nee, doen een saam asseblief.
Dank u. Dank u.
Beloop.
Dank u wel.
Councillors, I just want to bring you the names of the rest. A heroic set in service and protecting the community. That is Unanati Willie, it's not here this morning. A heroic act serving the protection of the community, Lennox Mtomba, is not here as well. And the last one for achieving a golf leading in the first round, the Nomads boys, and that was Martin Foster, putting Mossel Bay on the golf map. I want to congratulate each and every one of you who received this certificate this morning. Councillors, I should have prepared myself for a goodbye speech, but I will bring that on the 22nd of October, and then we can go on with the work of the day by opening the agenda. While we're waiting, I want to thank the mayor for the long speech that he have to brought to us, but it wasn't a lot of words that meant nothing to us. It's facts, and one can never fight against the facts. And doing the achievements that we had was not only the work of the mayor or the speaker or anyone, it was done by teams. And you are one of the teams, councillors, and our officials. You're the rest of the team. And I want to thank you, each and everyone. I always say one can only stand upright if you've got a cane. And the strength of the cane will provide if he can stand up straight or not. And you, our officials, you are that cane. Thank you very much. We can go on with the agenda. I'm at E228. Colin, can you? Okay, I've missed something. Thank you very much, Colin. I see there was some people at becoming of age in this month of September. We have Councillor Buddha on the 16th, Councillor Bandesi on the 10th of September, and Councillor Janse van Rensburg had her birthday on the 25th of September. To each and every one of you, I hope you had a wonderful day and the best for my best wishes for the new year that's coming up. Councillor, and then we received a list of people that passed on, and I want to give us a few minutes of silence, and then we bow our heads for this people that passed on. As from now on, can we bow our heads, please? Ons Hemelse Vader, vir hierdie mense van ons dorp wat nie meer in ons midde is nie, wat aan u regterhand sit, Here. Van hulle families wil ons oordra, Here, die sekerheid dat u hand oor hulle waggel. Ons eer hulle nagedagtes tot Jesus naam. Amen. Dankie, Colin. Colin, kan jy na die agenda toe gaan asseblief? Dankie. Councillors, we kick off this morning with E228 of 9/2021, proposed amendment to the organogram for community services. It's been through the LLF, and there was no problem with the LLF that this may come to council. So can I have a proposer and a seconder on E228?
Mr. Speaker, good morning.
Good morning, older lady.
Before I propose the item for approval, I would just like to inform you that myself and the director has received one written question from Councillor Gous on this item, and Director Nel did respond. Councillor Gous indicated her satisfaction with regards to the answer. So, Speaker, therefore, I would like to propose item E228 for approval. Thank you.
Proposed by older lady Anolia Fortuin. Do I have a seconder for it?
Yes, Speaker. A second, Councillor Kannemeyer.
Seconded by Councillor Kannemeyer. Is there anyone that's against the E228?
Speaker, I'm not against it. It's Councillor Gous.
Councillor Gous.
Speaker, Elder Lady Fortuin rightly says that, as usual, from the Directorate of Director Nel, I received a prompt and comprehensive reply. She has really set a standard that this municipality can be proud of. I did indicate because my question related to a concern of the estimated cost of these appointments. I am very well aware that the appointments are not all going to happen at the same time, that it will be staggered according to the budget. But in future, I have suggested that under the section that is under all our items, where it states financial implications, that the Finance Directorate can perhaps put an estimated cost, total cost to implement this item. And there are several items, I think there's another 2 in this agenda today where that would be, in my opinion, as the ACDP representative, that would be prudent. Because currently we are basically being asked to pass something that we don't know what financial burden it will place on the municipality, although we are very aware that it is necessary to continue to provide the services that we do. So the ACDP does not vote against this item. We accept the item with the hope that our contribution to it, our concern has been noted. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Gous. You've partly answered yourself when you said that there will not be everything will on this organogram wouldn't happen at once. So seeing in the light of that, it's not very easy to put an amount on it. That this might carry over a few years, as we all hope it can happen as quick as possible. The money will talk. So yeah, I noticed what you said, and I'm in my mind I'm also worried about finances, and not finances in Mossel, but finances in South Africa as such. With the COVID now showing its claws, it might be not possible to open up all these plans that we made for the future. And yeah, what you said is, I think that's the policy we have always. You don't spend money you don't have. You rather wait a while, and that's the way I live as well. So I take notice of it, and then I want to go on to the next one. It's E230. Mossel Bay Municipality Draft Establishment 8 Amendment Notice.
2 to 9. You must 2 to 9, Speaker.
Sige. Okay, I've missed it on items. Okay, now I can see it at a recess of from the 11th of December to 2021 to the 10th of January. Before I go on with it, I just want to state that E228 was on an start as a. No, I'm falling over my tongue, but it's just an unanimous vote. It was taken on that one. Sorry for that. I see a hand of Alderman Groenewald before we go on. Alderman Groenewald.
My apologies, Speaker. It's with regards to E229, the recess that I would like to speak on. Thank you.
We're there. I've missed it, but it wasn't on the screen then, and it's on the screen now. Recess from the 11th of December to the 10th of January 2022. I don't think there were people saying no for it, but that's only for cognizance. And I see a hand as Councillor Groenewald again, and then the next one, Councillor Gous.
No, thank you so much, Speaker. My apologies. Thank you, Speaker, so much for the opportunity. Now, I would just like to say we really appreciate and we will enjoy the recess from the 1st of November, more specifically as well, some of us. My apologies. But with regards to this item, I take it without saying, and we don't have to note it as such, that those powers being excluded, or that's not allowed to be delegated in terms of the Constitution and other legislation is obviously not part of the full authority that we now delegate. Thank you. And with that, I propose that we adopt the resolution, the recommendation. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Speaker.
Proposed by Alderman Groenewald. And before I ask for a seconder, I will give Councillor Gous a chance. Councillor Gous.
Thank you, Speaker. I would maybe just like to, on a lighter note, also thank you for the recess, especially now as we head into the elections and what you call silly season. I'd like to just share with Council the wise words of my son-in-law who said, Mom, this too shall pass. So we are looking forward to the 11th of December for more reasons than just rest. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Gous, and then I take that as a secondment.
Speaker, I second the item. It's Councillor Annie van Rensburg.
Okay, then we'll change my wording then. It's been proposed by Alderman Groenewald and it's been seconded by Councillor Annie Jansen van Rensburg. Director Jantjies.
I don't want to be out of order, but you can rule me out of order. Just in terms of this item, we just need to bear in mind as well that a new council will be elected on the 1st of November. It might be that that new council decides not to change this period of recess because this current council is now deciding from the 11th of December to the 10th of January. But it might just bear in mind that the new council can still decide that they won't go on recess, and new councillors, if you're coming back, just keep that in mind. You can't say no, but the previous council has put me on recess. I don't want to be out of order, but I just want us to keep this in mind, because there's a new council that's going to be elected on the 1st of November. The next council meeting is going to be the 9th of November with a new council, and they might decide otherwise.
Director, you're quite correct. This one, as you've seen, it was through the stages, and it was compiled before we had all the names and stuff of the new council that might be there. So yeah, that will be their prerogative to decide on it. What the problem can be if we don't have, and I don't want to play games, but it might be impossible to go a stretch of 3 months without a council meeting in the next term of the new council. Thank you for that one. And then the next one is E230 of September 21. The Mossel Bay Municipality Draft Establishment 8th Amendment Notice. Dit is vir kennisname, for cognizance. There was many hours spent bringing this to the council. Can I have a proposer and a seconder for this one, E230?
Good day, Speaker. Councillor van Dijk. Yes, I would like to propose with a provision that we rectify a number of the 8th in the item itself. There is a cosmetic spelling error which says 8th. It needs an H right throughout the item. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you. That shows me you've read your notices and your agenda. Thank you very much. Can I have a seconder for this, with the alteration that have to be done?
Speaker, I will second Mark Furness.
Thank you, Mark. Councillor Mark. Anyone against? If there's no one against, E230 then carries through as a decision of this council as an unanimous vote. Thank you very much. Next one, please. 231, relocation of Hartenbos Jeugskei Club to a portion of 4940 Hartenbos.
Speaker, I propose 231.
Proposed by Alderman Nicholas Boysen. Do I have a seconder for that?
Thank you, Speaker. Second.
Can I just, who did it? Who was the seconder? Councillor Delamain, I thank you very much. And I do see a hands of Councillor Gous again.
Yes, thank you, Speaker.
Councillor Gous, can I just keep you a moment? Colin, kan jy asseblief die skuif na 231, ons is lankal verby 230. Councillor Gous, while we're waiting that things happen, you can put your thoughts on the table.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, as you know, the ACDP did not oppose the establishment of the netball federation in Mossel Bay. What we did have a concern with was the placement of the new netball courts, which were now going to necessitate this relocation of the Hartenbos Jeugskei Club. So this does place me in a predicament simply because I believe that we are now responsible to assist the Hartenbos Jeugskei Club, but it is also going to cost ratepayers R500,000. So I would like that noted, Speaker, and then obviously I cannot vote against the item and I will not abstain on it. It is, in my opinion, now we're between a rock and a hard place and we now have to do it. But in my opinion, this is unnecessary incurred expenditure of R500,000. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you. That wasn't a proposal. Can I go through them? Then E231, relocation of the Yuxek Club. I've got a proposer. Do I have a seconder? Councillor, seems that we had a break. Can I just again tell me who was the proposer, and the seconder was Councillor of Alderman Nicholas Boysen, and it was proposed, not proposed, seconded by Councillor Anton Delamain. Did I hear right?
That's correct, Speaker.
Thank you
Thank
very
you,
much.
Speaker.
Thank you. We're at 232. Proposed amendment to the organogram subdirectorate community safety. We've heard in the mayor's speech this morning about community safety and what was done and what have to be done in the future. Can I have a proposer and a seconder for E232?
Yes, please, Speaker, if you allow me. I would like to propose that we adopt the resolution as contained in the agenda. But just a request in the heading, please remove the word sub. It is the Directorate Community Safety. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman Groenewald. And Colin, you have noticed that remark on sub. Will you change that as well, please? And do I have a seconder for that?
Speaker, with that recommendation and with that making that item correct, I second it.
It's been seconded and it's been proposed and everything has been done about it. Is there anyone against it?
Speaker, Councillor Gous.
Yes, Councillor Gous.
Thank you, Speaker, for your patience. I would like to say the ACDP is not against the item, but I do want to draw this council's attention to the fact that this expenditure is directly related to the ANC's government's failure to ensure the safety of our citizens. Not only that, Speaker, but I also want to mention that I hold the DA provincial government partly responsible because according to the Western Cape Constitution...
Councillor, we're not busy with a political fight here. We're now looking at what's going on in our town for the benefit of our town. Please stick to your guns.
You're I intend to. No, Speaker.
Yeah, without shooting with it.
The point that I want to make, Speaker, is that the province also has constitutionally powers to hold the police commissioner and his team to account in the province. And in my opinion, that hasn't been done. And this has been what is actually led is the route for the cause of this item coming to council and now being an expense to ratepayers who have already been taxed by the government to pay for these services. So this is a tax upon a tax, if I can say it like that. And so the ACDP would just like to have that on the record, that while we accept this item, we also recognize that it's been necessitated by bad governance. Thank you, Speaker. And that this municipality has had to now stick...
I want you to subtract the words bad governance. No, that's not Mossel Bay you're talking about. And we now busy with Mossel Bay. Please, can you terugtrek asseblief?
Not Mossel Bay, Speaker. I want to reiterate that specifically, not Mossel Bay. I said specifically province and national. Thank you.
No, Speaker, no, I think we must respond here.
You're welcome.
We must respond. The ACDP cannot, she said it in the first place that we are not doing enough. So far, what we have done, Speaker, we have set up a Section 80, which is not a mandate of a municipality. We have set it up where I am the chairperson. Speaker, we have already have a forum with all the stakeholders, neighborhood watchers, all are sitting on this forum. Speaker, as so far we already we close how do you call it in English, but we close all paving. We are busy closing it. Speaker, we are busy with the call center. with the police, fire brigade, all this, all the stuff inside that call center. Speaker, we are busy with the stability unit, where we will get people to help the police to make Mossel Bay a safer place. So how can the ACDP say today that Mossel Bay have done nothing to help the people in Mossel Bay for safety?
Councillor Alderman Boyson.
Speaker.
Now, listen, when the speaker talks only, Councillor, I'll give you a chance when the time is right. I'm talking at the moment, and when the speaker speaks, everyone listen. The councillor host did say not Mossel Bay. So then I see a hand of the Deputy Mayor, Alderman Kotze.
Speaker, yeah, thank you very much. I partly do agree. I think at this stage our policemen are really struggling and they are grossly understaffed and funded. But I would like in future if Councillor Gous can please not give an opinion to council and come with facts. To do debating based on opinions is a bit far-fetched. And I will just also would like to remind that the Western Cape Ombudsman is doing its job. We've just newly appointed the old General Reddy from George as well, who was the regional commander, who did a sterling job. We actually worked very well with him. And then the Premier is also fighting on various platforms and on various occasions to obtain more powers. It was even in the manifesto that the Premier tried to obtain powers. So I would please like if we can come up with facts and not with opinions in a council meeting.
Thank you, Alderman. The next one is Councillor Alderman Groenewald.
Speaker.
Councillor
Speaker.
Buddha, I put up
I raised
to you. You last in a row. I'll definitely give you a chance, but at first time.
No, Speaker.
The first next hand is Councillor
Groenewald. Speaker. I was before all of them. It's just I can't raise my hand here. And you said when you are speaking, we should all listen. So I was listening.
Councillor Petrus, I'll give you a chance. Let me go on the sequence. And the next one will be Councillor Groenewald.
Thank you.
Thank you, Speaker. I would just like to make a correction. Is that the provincial government does not have the mandate of law enforcement or police services. That is a national competency, and it's not the province. Thank you.
Thank you, Alderman. The next hand will then be Councillor Gous, and then it will be Councillor Petrus, or rather Councillor Buddha, and then Councillor Petrus Lechaba, and then I will conclude. The next one.
Speaker, thank you for the opportunity to, according to the rules of conduct, for me to correct a misunderstanding about what I've said. But Speaker, if I may request to maybe perhaps let Councillor Lechaba say what he wants to say and the other speaker, and then I can possibly re-express what I was saying so that they better understand what I was saying.
No, I'm sorry, Councillor, I will not allow it. You've got one chance to speak, and you ask now for a third one, so I will give you
Speaker,
another.
Thank you very much. Then let me just say, Alderman Groenewald's assertion is correct. What I'm referring to is the powers of the Premier and the Provincial Parliament to hold the police commissioner and the police force under him to account. And if I had been allowed to finish what I had wanted to say originally, Acting Mayor, you would have heard that I have noted the work that has been done by the Western Cape government, but that it has fallen far short according to the powers that it does have according to the Western Cape Constitution. So I will leave it there. Thank you. That is not an opinion. That is a matter of fact if you look at the powers given to them that they have not exercised in the interests of the people of the Western Cape. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Gous. Councillor Buddha.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, I'd like to applaud this community safety. And then, Speaker, in terms of the land invasion on erecting the illegal structures, this council, it must identify the land as soon as possible, because in Mossel, we've got ±23 informal settlement in a greater Mossel Bay. Now, what we see outside here, if the municipality can move faster, you only find that during the night, and then the shack is there, and then there is no land is earmarked for the 23 informal settlement. If you use our land, leave no attendance in space, I think it's going to be a remedy, so that we can't have just illegal structure all over the place. Keep on educating our community, consultation, because this bylaw, we don't want to see the law enforcement when you go there to demolish the shack, and then people they are fighting there, so they don't know what is happening on. Let us educate you. I mean, pamphlets and everything, if it's a new bylaw, so that they must understand what is happening in Mossel Bay.
Thank you, Councillor Buddha. Yeah, I've noticed what you said, and we might. I've dot it down for the next people. And then I've had Councillor Petrus Lechaba. Unfortunately, I don't have hand, but Councillor Lechaba.
Thank you very much, Speaker. Thank you. Good morning to everyone. Just want to correct something here, or to advise Councillor House. When she said the national government, the provincial government failed, I don't know what does he understand where it failed. For me, she must. I want to concur also with the deputy mayor. She must, when she comes here to the council meeting, if she's got nothing to say, she can just keep quiet, because there's no facts in what she's saying. The police are trying their utmost here, and we people are the ones who are creating all these problems. Now, to say a government failed, it's not even an insult. I don't know how to call it. So she must withdraw. The ACTB must withdraw its words of saying the government is a failure. You are not here to. She was given a chance here over the radio to lobby or to say whatever she wants to say. This is not a politicking place or venue for her to come with this cheap politics here. You don't deal with cheap politics. You deal with facts and how to build the Mossel Bay. This is why this council is all about, not about cheap politics. She must go out there and canvass and get seats here in the council. That's what she was doing. Not come with actual allegations that the government, the Western Cape government, blah, 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 the national government. No, it doesn't work like that. Thank you very much, Speaker. Just want to school her about it.
Thank you, Councillor. I do see another hand, and that's a hand of Councillor Leon van Dijk. And with that will be the last speaker on this item. Councillor van Dijk.
Speaker, thank you. I would like to use the opportunity to say, and I agree with some of the councillors, that we are not here to score cheap political points. We are here to make sure that we look after the issues at stake in the communities, and that is safety. Yes, I want to also rectify something, that the province only has an oversight role to play over police. So I would rather accept input than criticism in terms of going forward in building our capacity in terms of law enforcement and in terms of keeping our community safe. So let's stop cheap political points.
Thank you, Councillor van Dijk. We have no proposals again, and then we've had a lot of discussions on it, but E3232 of 09/2021 carries through as an unanimous vote. Next one, please, Colin. Another set of proposed amendments to the scarce skills policy, that's E233 of 09/2021. Can I have a proposer and a seconder that we can open this one? Councillors, can I have a proposer for E233 propose
Speaker.
amendments to the scarce skills policy?
I propose, Speaker, sorry, my microphone is a bit sticky. Thanks.
Thank you, Deputy. Do I have a seconder on that?
Thank you, Speaker. I'll second it. Alderman Bayman was supposed to second this, but he's experiencing problems with his car's breakdown. So I would like to second this. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Anyone against?
Speaker.
Before I ask for against, yeah, Councillor Buddha, you can.
Thank you, Speaker.
The floor is yours.
Okay, Speaker. I'm not against. You are not against. As long as all the stakeholders are all on board, like the LLF. If their input are valid, and then they've got no problem. No, we've got no problem in the skill policy, because we don't want to see at the end of the day, people there on top that they make a picketing and then complaining about the bylaws they don't know. If they are on board, no problem, Speaker. Can go forward.
Thank you, Councillor Buddha. I hear no negative signs on this one, as E233 of 09/2021 carries through as unanimous vote. Next one, please.
Sorry, Speaker. Sorry to intervene.
Cliffy, het jy reg gekom?
Ja. Speaker, nie eintlik, maar ek is op die tablet, so ek sal nou volg hier verder. Ons het eintlik net 'n kragonderbreking hier in Green Haven, so dit mag wees dat die battery miskien nou nie te lank gaan hou nie, maar ek is op, Speaker, hoor.
Baie dankie. Thank you, Cliffy. The next one, E234, annual water audit. What can we do without water? What can we do without clean water? Can I have a proposer and a seconder that we can take cognizance of the annual water audit?
Speaker, I'll propose Mark Furness.
Thank you, Councillor Mark. Second.
Thank you, Speaker. I'm second it. Thank you, Speaker.
It's been anyone against? I hear silence. So E233. Councillor Gous.
Yes, my apologies. My hand did go up a little late, Speaker.
Just a second. I've lost my screen, so you can go on.
Okay, thank you. I was going to say, with the amount of times I put up my hand, you think I'd be a faster draw by now. But Speaker, I would like to, obviously, we note the water audit report, and we note with thanks all the work that has been done. I do just want to raise two issues that we have noted with concern. And that is the quality of water that's returned to resource, both urban and rural. 75% is not a bad compliance rate, but we would definitely like to see that improve. And then regarding the actual water quality compliance, regarding the chemical content sitting at 66.7% compliance, the ACDP would like us to see an improvement on that. And then also, according to the report regarding water compliance, 5 sites failed, but they are not mentioned. So in the future, if the report could actually mention those sites, it would be much appreciated. I thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Gous. And I've noted what you said. The next one then coming up, 234 then goes through as an unanimous vote. 235, Colin, please. While we're waiting, 235 is clearing, deforestation, Louis Fourie Road Reserve and other state-owned road reserves and properties. E235, can I have a proposer and a seconder for that one?
Speaker, thank you. I would like to propose item E235 for approval. Thank you.
Thank you, older lady. Secondant? Seconder?
Second dear Speaker, Rasit Kannemeyer.
Thank you, Councillor Kannemeyer. Anyone against?
Speaker, not against.
Speaker.
Okay, at first I have heard Councillor Gous and then Councillor Buddha. Councillor Gous, you can take the floor.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, at the risk of upsetting politicians, I'd like to just mention that this item is similar to item E232, where the Mossel Bay residents are going to have to pick up the costs for, once again, the failure of another level of government to actually do their job. And so I want to suggest, while I completely recognize that it's become a safety issue for Mossel Bay and residents have in the past themselves cleared up the bush along this reserve, the road reserve, that we have stated in the item that an opinion has been obtained that, subject to compliance with constitutional and statutory prescript, the municipality is in principle, not allowed, but in principle, empowered to allocate funds to be spent on a third-party property. Speaker, I would like to know, what are the legal implications that, should we pass this item, what are the repercussions for councillors on paying money to be spent on property that does not belong to us? And then secondly, if according to this legal opinion we will not be liable for the costs incurred, why can we then not charge the province for the costs that we incur on behalf of our residents, which they should actually be paying? That's the second thing. The third point that I would like to make, Speaker, is that because of the situation that we constantly have, why was it not possible for province to have long ago given some kind of a mandate to towns to clean road reserves that belong to them in their areas? That this should perhaps be escalated to the province and not just in Mossel Bay. So while I appreciate, and I reiterate that even with item 232, I appreciate what this municipality and what the department, the Directorate of Community Safety aims are. I support that completely. Councillor Boyson, please hear me. I support it completely. And I fully appreciate all the initiatives that are being done. So for Councillor van Dijk as well, please understand that. My concern is that at a provincial level, issues are not being addressed where they can, and that is directly impacting on the costs that this municipality is already carrying very heavy on, that we cannot deny. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Gous. The next one will be Councillor Buddha. I just want to tell you something. I've opened a meeting that the meaning of it was, let's sit and talk. And unfortunately, the mayor wasn't available, so I had to do a speech. And my opening speech, I said the people who governs Mossel Bay are people with pride. And that's one of the factors that lead to taking away bushes and grass and so forth. If you don't cut your grass at home, everyone will say, look at that girl, she doesn't have someone to cut the grass, and she don't worry how our yard might look. And yeah, we heard what you said, Councillor Gous, and I will ask our loyal team to lawyers to give you some answers on what you said. I will not entertain another of a spreekbeurt, and then I just want to listen to the next one. I thought was Councillor Buddha. Councillor Buddha.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, we support this item fully. But all of us, Speaker, we support the clean, safe, and healthy environment for our community. But now, because of the COVID-19, as from the 27th March 2020, a lot of people suffer severely. Those they've got small companies. If you look at the small companies, people who registered under municipality, you only find a long list there. I request, Speaker, those they never receive a job from this municipality while they are on the data, they are registered. Let us give peace, all the people in Mossel Bay. For instance, in front of the court there, on top there is a huge space there where we can cut the trees and so on. Please, these people, they are suffering of the rent from the SARS and so on. They are paying the rent, but they are never received a job from municipality. Even the street cleaning, we'll be very grateful if put this face tomorrow, you put another one so that everybody can be proud of Mossel Bay.
Thank you, Councillor Buddha. Officials, please take note of what Councillor Buddha asked for. Seeing that we don't have anyone against it, E235 carries through as a unanimous vote. Thank you very much, councillors. I made a promise, Councillor Gous, and that will come to you, the answers that you've asked. E236, establishment of a non-profit company, management of the Joint Operations Center. Can I have a proposer and a seconder for the establishment of a non-profit company management?
Thank you, Speaker, if you allow me.
I will definitely do so.
Thank you so much, Speaker. I would just like to make the following comments. If you have a look at page 1540, paragraph 3.1.2.5, the functions of local media is misplaced. It should be under correctional services. And then the functions of the media then should be also defined. Secondly, paragraph 3.1.2.6, there is no formulation under that paragraph. And then I would also like to suggest that 3.4 perhaps be considered to be added. And this is preventative crime prevention awareness. And then 4.2.1, although defined under municipality, I suggest that the name Mossel Bay be added to the definition of municipal council. And under 5.4.1.1, please consider to add the wording and Garden Route District Municipality, although it could be covered under 5.4.3 as other funders. And then lastly, Speaker, we know that there was some form of, what is it, drukkers duivel in English, I don't know. But the attachment from page 1573 is misplaced under that item. And there could be a report missing. And Speaker, with our interaction between yourself and myself, you indicated that the report with this attachment relates, as we know, to the JDMA, and it will be considered then to place that report as such to the council. Thank you so much, Speaker.
Thank you, Alderman Groenewald. You're quite right with that misplacement. It's been looked at, and that will be part of our council meeting on the 22nd of October. Do I have a proposer for Alderman Groenewald with the alterations he proposed?
Yes, Speaker, you would certainly have a secondant. I would also like to add something, if I may, while seconding, is that in the definitions, if we could include a CSF, which gives meaning to the Community Safety Forum, which has recently been established and which would be the vehicle going forward for the Mossel Bay Municipality. So CSF, Community Safety Forum, to be included. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Leon. Is there anyone against?
Speaker, it's Councillor Gous. I have no objection to the amendments and the corrections. Thank you, Alderman Groenewald. Speaker, what I would like to just propose that in the interest of transparent and accountable government, that in order to give effect to 5.5.1.2, that the councillor appointed from council must be from the opposition benches. And to that end, that we would like to see that it does not become this. First of all, let me say, Speaker, I'd like to applaud the persons that drafted this document. As I was working through it and noting questions, as I worked further down the document, I had my answers to all the questions that I I had raised. So thank you for that. What I'm saying is that the questions were actually addressed in the documents, stipulations were made, and that's much appreciated. But because I would like to see effect given to, I can't remember what point it was now, I did make a note, 5.1.2, sorry, yes, no promotion of politics. So for that reason, the ACDP recommends that an amendment be made that where we say a councillor would be appointed, that the documents say an opposition councillor be appointed. And yes, let me leave it there. Thank you, Speaker.
Councillor Gous, do you have a seconder for the changing of what you asked for? Is there a seconder for that way of thinking of Councillor Gous, that the councillor there directed from the council must be one of the opposition councillors? Do you have a seconder for that one?
Councillor Baron, I can't see if he's on the line.
Councillor Gous, you cannot act on behalf of someone else. I asked for if you got a seconder. If you don't have a seconder, I cannot go on.
I just wondered if he was offline, Speaker. That's all. That's all I was wondering. If he had maybe lost connection.
Is daar 'n sekondant vir die mevrou Gous se aanbeveling? Is there a seconder for what Mrs. Gous laid on the table? 1, 2, 3, no one. That will not be part of the decision then, and the rest of it will then carry through as an unanimous vote. Thank you, councillors. The next one.
Speaker, Councillor Gous.
Councillor Gous, you had your chance. I'm at the next one now. Proposed amendments on the COVID-19 policy. Do I have a proposer and a seconder that we lay this on table?
Yes, thank you, Speaker. I propose this item. This is Councillor Annie van Rensburg speaking.
Councillor Annie van Rensburg proposed, and do I have a seconder?
Yes, indeed, Speaker. It's Councillor Cliffy supporting item E237.
Item 237 has been proposed and seconded. Is there anyone against it?
Speaker, Councillor Gous, only would like to council to note. I see we are recommending that the test, and by that I assume the PCR test, be done only from day 7 onwards, because finally recognition has been made that the virus can only be picked up in a certain window period. But also, Speaker, I'd like to draw council's attention to the fact that the Centre for Disease Control has now officially stated that the PCR test is not an accurate means to test for COVID. So it is really all just a moot point. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Gous. Yeah, seeing that we all of us are laymen, and on this side, I would rather leave it in the hands of the medical procession. And I heard what you said, but at the moment, what's on the table? Are there anyone against it? No one against it. Then E237 carries through as an unanimous vote. And councillors, please, I've pleaded for as many times. If you are not having received the jab, try to convince yourself to receive it and go there. When I look at the stats and I saw that how many people have passed on as when in this COVID pandemic, it's almost for 560 days now, and since the jabs come into succession with at first we only had one, and then we had more than one, and then many people have received the jabs and less people die of COVID. So I don't know what your beliefs might be. There's a lot of people that put on social media that say no, and the reasons why, and then the medical, there's some people that don't believe it and some people that believe it. That's your decision. If I can help you with your decision, take the jab, please. The next one is the Mossel Bay Virtual Gorikwa Dias Festival, and that's E238 of 09/2021. Can I have a proposer and a seconder that I can open this one? E238.
Thank you, Speaker. I'll propose.
Proposed by Councillor Anton de Lemaine and seconded by?
Thank you, Speaker. I second this item, E238.
Thank you very much. The item is self-explanatory. Is there anyone that want to go against it or have something to say about it? I see a hand of Councillor Gous.
Thank you, Speaker. The ACDP doesn't oppose the item. I just would like to note that to the best of my knowledge, despite the amount of money that has been spent by this council with the twinning agreement with Denpasar, I have not seen any concrete benefit of that yet. And this 160,000 Rand is now being spent to honour that agreement again. With that said, Speaker, the ACDP accepts the item.
Thank you. Anyone else? If there's no one, I'm going to go on, and whether we take note of what Councillor Gous said, and E237 then carries through as a unanimous vote. I'm in the next one. No, it's not 237. That's 238 that of 09/2021 that carries through as a unanimous vote. Thank you, councillors. We at the next one, E239. Can you go up a little bit? Thank you. Quarterly reports for expenditure section for the period of the 1st of March 2021 to the 30th of June. For cognizance, I suppose. Can you go up a little further to the recommendation column? Recommendation that cognizance be taken. Then when I don't any comments, E238 carries through as a unanimous vote. The next one, that's supply chain again, I suppose, is E239 of 09/2021 quarterly reports for expenditure section for the period March 2021 to June 2021. Do I have a proposer and a seconder that I can lay this to the table?
Mark?
Okay. Speaker, I propose Mark Furness.
Thank you, Councillor Mark Furness. Do I have a seconder?
Yes, sir. You've got a seconder. It's Maury de Klerk.
M&M. Thank you, Councillor Mark and Maury. Any comments? Usually there's no comments on this type of points, and the E239 carries through as an unanimous vote. So it's only for cognizance. Councillors, E240, supply chain monthly report for deviations approved. Can I have a proposer and a seconder for putting this to the table for cognizance, E240?
Yes. Yes, Speaker. It's Maury de Klerk. I'm proposing this point on the agenda, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Older Lady. The clerk, seconder.
Speaker, I'll second Mark Furness.
Mark Furness for cognizance. Then E240 as a goes through as an unanimous vote. Thank you very much.
Speaker, the Speaker, Councillor Gous.
Yes, Councillor Gous.
Thank you, Speaker. The ACDP has taken cognizance of the supply chain deviation report, Speaker, but notes again with concern that just in 1 month, R250,000 has been spent on the hiring of a bulldozer, and that the ACDP has not yet had any feedback from, I want to say directorates, but also management, in the sense that I have asked that an investigation be done if it would not be more feasible for the council to hire, the municipality to hire their own bulldozer. if you consider the costs over just the period that I've been in council, Speaker, for the 5 years that these deviation reports come through for the hire of a bulldozer on a monthly basis, at great cost. Thank you, Speaker.
You're quite right when you not assume when you say that the great cost. But now you must look a little further than that. The dozer is a very, very expensive machine, and it needs a very qualified operator. And do we have work for a dozer each and every day? Do we have work for that operator? And that'll cost us a lot more money. And I always, when I was in business, I've decided it's better to have your own tools, but sometimes it's better to hire in tools. So that's my seeing of it. But you've only talked on the possibility. You haven't made a proposal. So with
I just wanted it noted. Thank you, and that we investigate the possibility. It might turn out, as you say, that it's not feasible for us, but at least that we should investigate that possibility, because a driver could be employed in other services when he's not needed to ride the bulldozer around. Thank you, Speaker.
It seems to me you haven't been at the LLF meeting, but I'll stop it there. Okay, E240, 241. Ons is 241, hè? Ons is nog 'n bietjie klaar by 240 nie. Is ek reg? Yeah, the 240 was unanimous vote, and I'm at 241 now. Monthly reports with regards of the supply chain management for the month of July 2021. Colin, can you go up to the recommendation, please? On my notes, I have all the page numbers of the recommendations, and unfortunately, I haven't got it with me now. The recommendation that cognizance be taken of monthly reports with regard to supply chain management for July 2021. Can I have a proposer and a seconder for E241 for cognizance?
Propose Speaker Buddha.
Thank you, Councillor Buddha. Seconder?
Speaker, I'll second him. Mark first.
Councillor Mark, and then it carries through as an unanimous vote. I'm at 242. Application for the lease of municipal buildings situated on a portion of Earth's 78 Meyer Street, Littlebrack River. That's for the Power Kids crash. It's been in front of us for quite some while now, and we can now put a stamp on it. Can I have a proposer and a seconder for E242?
Yes, thank you, Speaker. I would gladly propose this item, E242. It's Councillor Annie
van Rensburg. Do I have a seconder for that?
Speaker, I second.
Seconded by Alder Lady Venolia Fortuin. And when I don't hear anything else, that one carries through. E242 is an unanimous vote. Thank you, councillors. I'm at E243, application for the renewal of a lease agreement of municipal buildings situated on a portion of Earth 7519 Notinana Street in Asla Park, Kwananga, and it's the Peniel Educare and Aftercare Center. That's been with us as long as the previous one. Can I have proposers and a seconder for that one, E243?
Yes, Speaker, it's Councillor Cliffy. I would like to propose this item.
Proposed by Councillor Cliffy. Seconded by?
I second, Speaker.
Seconded by Councillor Julia Sioko.
Thank you, Speaker.
Anyone on this?
Yes, Speaker.
Councillor de Klerk.
Speaker.
Was it Nossi, Councillor Bobello? Sorry, I've missed that one.
Yes, thank you, Speaker. Speaker, I'm not against this item, Speaker, but the thing is, there are some people that are asking more about this crash here in Asla Hall. So we don't have questions, we don't have answers to them. But I'm not against it.
but the people need answers about why are there so many crashes in the building of the hall, and some people are not getting access into the hall, like getting maybe spaces in the hall, but there are so many crashes in the same hall. So I just wanted to pass that message. Anyway, I'm not against the item. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Bubelo. We take note of that. Is there anyone else? I see a hand of Councillor Marie de Klerk. Councillor de Klerk.
Speaker, no, thank you. I tried to get it off, but I had it previously. I wanted to ask something about the bulldozer, but I'm too late now because I bet people don't know how much a bulldozer costs on the end of the day.
Yeah, the
But
bulldozer
thanks for that one, Speaker.
Something of the past.
Yeah.
Then this one carries through as an unanimous vote, and we will go to the next one, E244. Alienation of a portion of Earth 2001 Mossel Bay to Makiwa Trust and to be utilized for business purposes. I will not read it any further. That's one of these things we had in discussion for many months. Can I have a proposer and a seconder for this one? E244.
Yes, Speaker. Councillor Leon van Dijk will propose.
Proposed by Councillor Leon van Dijk. Do I have a seconder?
Speaker, thank you. I gladly second the item. Thank you.
It's been seconded by Councillor Older Lady Vanolia Fortuin. And I don't hear any remarks. Gone. E244 carries through as an unanimous vote. We are at E245, approval of a session of lease agreements. Also by Municipality Mobile Telephone Networks.
Speaker?
Yes.
It's Councillor. My apologies. I was trying to speak, but you couldn't hear me.
Councillor Gous, you must react faster. You cannot speak on each and every one and think I must wait for it.
No,
When
Speaker,
I don't hear
okay.
something, I've asked and I haven't had any replies on it, and that one is now handled, and I cannot give you a chance on that one now. I want to go on to 245.
We are unfortunately dependent on technology, and if we lose signal for a moment and I'm struggling to get through, that is not my fault. The ACDP abstains on item 244, Speaker.
Okay, thank you. We will take note of that. Scribe, will you please put it in that the ACDP will not be part of this decision, and then we go on to 245, E245, approval of a session of lease agreement, Mossel Bay Municipality, mobile telephone networks. None of us can go without a cell phone. This is a given. Can I have a proposer and a seconder for this one?
Yes, Speaker, I would like to propose item E245 for acceptance.
Thank you, Councillor Cliffy, or Alderman Cliffy. And do I have a seconder for that?
Speaker, I'll second Mark Venice.
It's been proposed and it's been seconded. Is there anyone? Councillor Gous, are your hand up? Your hand is up, yes? Councillor Gous?
Yes, thank you, Speaker. Thank you, Speaker. If I can just draw your attention to the fact that I've got to be very careful with the timing of my hand going up. Otherwise, you might think I'm seconding an item or proposing an item. So I really have a tiny little gap to get my hand up before you move on to the next item after the person has seconded. So I just thought I'd draw your attention to that. Thank you, Speaker. I would like to just ask on item E245, the approval. I don't have a problem with us ceding the lease agreements. I'm just wondering why the company that the leases are being ceded to is not mentioned in the item. They are simply referred to as the company that is purchasing MTN's equipment and infrastructure. So if that could just be cleared up, then I wouldn't have a problem to vote for this item. Thank you, Speaker.
Just 1 second. I don't have an answer on that one, but give me some space and I'll try to locate some.
Thank you, Speaker. I would suppose legal services. Thank you, Speaker.
Councillor Gous, I'll ask Mr. Prince to give you an answer on that.
Speaker, thank you. No, the reason being that they were still in negotiations, and the information was requested to be considered as confidential.
Thank you, Mr.
Thank you,
Prince.
Speaker. Thank you, Mr. Prince. Thank you, Speaker.
You know, sir, with a tongue in the cheek, you're quite young, you're quite a few years younger than I am. But on the TV on a Sunday afternoon, there was always the Puck and Cliff show. And it seems to me in this meeting this morning, it's a Gous and ter Blanc show. So yeah, that's only on a lighter note, Councillor Gous. The next one. E245 has been done. And we're now at E246. Alienation of a portion of a remainder of Earth 2001 situated on the eastern side of the existing development Earth 11567 Fynbos Heights. Lifestyle Willing, Heiderand, and the Rotary Village Trust is named on this one. Can I have a proposer and a seconder?
Speaker, yes. Speaker, Councillor Leon van Dijk.
Councillor Leon.
I would like to propose, but I would also like to make two amendments. The reference being on page 1721 of the agenda. And what we need to add is that the 22 beds to be completed at 80% of the development, the finalization. And then there was also an item, I think, that in the recommendations we mentioned that cameras would be supplied or installed at least in Apiesdoring Street. So that would be items 12 and 13 under the heading 9 on page 1718. So just those two changes. The first one, that the 22 beds to be completed on 80% of the finalization of the development, and that we insist that LPR cameras be placed on the development of Apiesdoring in terms of the SLA that would be formulated for community safety. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Councillor Leon. Do I have a seconder with the proposals that was added by Councillor Leon?
Yes, Speaker. With the mentioned amendments, I would like to second the item. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I see a hand of Mr. Prince. Mr. Prince. Can you give us some answer on this one?
Speaker, I just want to make sure on something from Councillor van Dijk. The reference to the cameras, the recommendation was contained under item 8.6, and I just wanted to make sure that that didn't answer his question. And I just want to make sure with regard to the beds, is it 80% of the beds as contained under recommendation 12 on page 1721?
That is correct, Speaker. Both. I've read in item 12 and 13, so that is correct.
Thank you, Mr. Prince. Councillor Leon, are you satisfied?
Yes, Speaker. I refer to number 12 and 13 as correctly mentioned by Mr. Prince, just for the inclusion of those two, so quite correct, yes.
Thank you very much. Can I have a seconder before I open this floor for discussions? A seconder for Councillor Leon.
I second Speaker, Councillor Annie van Rensburg.
Oh, sorry, I was just struggling to unmute myself. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you very much. It's been proposed and it's been seconded, and I see a hand of Councillor Gous. Councillor Gous.
Yes, thank you, Speaker. Speaker, this item remains of great concern to me. The first point in the item that is concerning is that point 7 states, with regard to item 21, which was Council Resolution E62, where the presentation was promised to councillors during the public participation process, the item now states that a legal opinion was obtained in order to determine basically whether they would be presenting councillors with a presentation, because it now says it must be amended to read, the trust is to present the envisaged developments to members after the council decision has been taken. Speaker, I can't understand that any councillor would be happy to vote yes on this item when no presentation has been made to councillors. I'm also greatly concerned, Speaker, there are many benefits accruing to Benevolent Park and other, like the cameras and the extension to RP Storing and so on with the contribution, development contribution levies. But Speaker, that is part of what concerns me, that even after all these additional costs, that this development remains so profitable for the Rotary Village Trust operating under Rotary Club. The other concern for me is the fact that we state not that all funds generated through this development will be kept in the trust. No, these profits will be accrued to the Rotary Club to be used for charitable donations. But the moment, in my opinion, it moves out from under the hands of the trust, we no longer have any claim to inspect what the money has been spent on. Speaker, the ACDP strongly opposes the passing of this item as it is. We do not have sufficient information to pass this, and also the fact that I do not deem, the item says that it will be deemed to be a fair process because we now are alienating land without a fair competition through tender. It's directly being alienated at a sales price. I cannot accept this item, and I'm surprised that any councillor would. So please note the ACDP's strong objection against accepting this item as it is. I can't accept that we are not being given an opportunity to engage with the developers and the directors of the trust, but we are simply being asked to rubber stamp something, and then afterwards, if they feel like it, they'll come and give us a presentation. That's a definite no from the ACDP.
Thank you, Councillor Gous. Do I have
Thank you, Speaker.
Can I have a seconder for the view of Councillor Gous before I open the floor for discussions? No. In the meanwhile, I see a hand of the Deputy Terkotse. Deputy, you may answer. Give us answers, please.
Speaker, thank you very much. Yeah, Vicky, I'm not sure if this council have engaged a lot of times with other developers who plan to do projects, because we're normally not involved in that process. But yeah, council have to take a decision. There is a current development that's been run by this organization that is successful, that was obtained, as far as I understand, in exactly or basically the same way. This time around, it's a non-profit organization, and yes, there is obviously, as we've seen, profits will be generated out of this, and that is why we said we've got another organization, which is Benevolent Park, which is catering for the less people with less. And at this stage, the whole idea of the item is especially to help that community. That is the only organization, or dis die enigste instansie, if I can put it in that way, in Mossel Bay that caters for people with less money, who's less affluent. And that is why I think that is the main focus from our side, which we focused on, is how we can funnel some of that money towards Benevolent Park to benefit the organization, which is really struggling. We've had how many meetings with them at this stage? They're struggling with the upkeep of the buildings. The people who are staying there cannot afford the increases. And like I've mentioned, this is the only institution that cater for people, mense wat meer arm is or less fortunate people. That's what I'm looking for. So we're already in a dire need for organizations like this. And the only one that we've got is now also experiencing trouble. So I do understand that eyebrows can be lifted, and that is why council decided last time around to go on an extensive public. Speaker, am I still online?
You're online.
Thank you. Okay. Sorry, something happened here.
No, he cut out, Speaker. We never heard him clearly.
Deputy, you can go on. You're still online.
Speaker, okay, thank you. Yes, yeah. So that's the reason why council went out on because this is not the normal process. Now, hopefully, this is something that can be established in future to force non-profit organizations or other organizations that deals with council to ensure their social contribution, that it has an effect to the less fortunate people in Mossel Bay. So we also went through a proper public participation process where we've received next to none negative comments, except for Benevolent Park, who is welcoming it. And I think it's on that basis that from our side, I think we're quite excited about this whole new development.
Thank you, Alderman Kotse. Is there another hands? No one. Councillor Gous was adamant in having a proposal against it. Do I have a seconder for the proposal of Councillor Gous for the second time?
Speaker, I don't request a seconder. I just want my name noted against this item because I hear what our acting mayor has said and I'm in full agreement with him about that. But Speaker, my concern is the fact that the same measures could have been used if we had gone out on an open tender process. And while I appreciate that we're saying a comprehensive public participation process was engaged in, we cannot. I've raised this concern in council before. We state earth number so-and-so, and nobody knows where that is. We need to put down more specifics so that people are aware of exactly where the proposed developments are, where the effect is going to be had on them, and where it is exactly in town. So the ACDP is still, I say no to this. I would prefer that the item be referred back. I know it's not going to happen. There isn't a political will to do that, and I'm outnumbered with the votes, so I accept that, but I do so with the request that my name be noted strongly against it, Speaker.
Can you please say about what's in front of us? Not trying to gain points on political side. We don't do it, and I don't like it the way you're doing it.
Point, Speaker. It's about justice. It's about justice. It's about the fact that the Constitution.
Councillor Gous, thank you very much for your contribution. I want to conclude on this one. I ask for a seconder so that we can put a vote on it, and then, but you said no, you don't want a seconder. Then I abide with what was said, and I will close this one as unanimous vote, except for the AC.
Yes.
Listen.
Thank you.
Let me please do my thing. Otherwise, I will mute you and go on with the meeting. I'm not fond of it being hindered in everything I do. I said without the ACDP that this carries through as an unanimous vote. Thank you very much. The next one.
Thank you, Speaker. My apologies for interrupting you while you were speaking. I never realized that you were going to carry on. Thank you.
E247, permission to erect COVID-19 memorial on a portion of Earth 2165 Mossel Bay next to the old Mossel Bay Cemetery. You went through it and you've made it your own. Can I have a proposer and a seconder for this
Speaker,
request? Councillor.
Speaker, I, Nicholas, will propose it. What a good vision for Mossel Bay.
Thank you,
I
Alderman
propose.
Boyson. Can I have a seconder on that one?
Thank you, Speaker. I will gladly second it.
Anyone else or anyone against it? If nothing, then E247 carries through as a unanimous vote. Thank you very much, councillors. We at the next one, we still have a long stride to go. I'm at 248 of the month of September 2021. Application for the renewal of the lease agreement of a portion of portion 101 of the farm Hartenbos, situated adjacent to R102 road. You've read it, and can I have a proposer and a seconder?
Thank you, Speaker.
It's Councillor Aniki.
Yes, I
very
propose the item.
Seconder for that one?
Councillor van Dijk, Speaker.
Councillor van Dijk. Anyone against? If there is no one against it, E248 of 09-2021 carries through as an unanimous vote. I thank you, councillors. I'm at 249 09-2021. Status report, disposal of a lease, municipal properties, February 21 to July 2021, and municipal property related issues. That's a given. That's one of the things we do each and every year. Can I have a proposer and a seconder for that one? 249.
Yes, Speaker, I would like to propose item E249.
Thank you, Alderman. Do I have a seconder for it?
Second Speaker for Cluffy.
Dankie, Councillor Julia. Anyone against? Any comments? I see a hand of Councillor Alderman Groenewald.
No, thank you, Speaker. I would just like to commend that directorate and the officials in that directorate for keeping us posted on what's happening with our properties. It really assists us a lot in our oversight role, and we appreciate keeping us abreast of what's happening to our properties. Thank you so much for that.
Thank you, Alderman. Then if it's no one against it, that's E249 of 09-2021 carries through as an unanimous vote. Thank you, councillors. We're on the next one, 250. Just 1 second. 250. Ons 249 afhaal. Kalen, kan ons by 250 kom asseblief? Dankie. Oopsie. While Carlin is struggling to put on the agenda again, 250 proposed adoption and amended Mossel Bay Municipality bylaw on municipal land use planning 2015 as amended in 2019, and the amended Mossel Bay Municipality integrated zoning scheme bylaw 2018 as amended in 2019. And I've noticed how many hours went into this bylaw. And yeah, this is now the newest version of it. Can I have a proposer and a seconder that we can adopt E250?
Yes, Speaker, I propose item E250.
Thank you, Alderman Cliffy. Do I have a seconder for that?
Speaker, I second Speaker.
Thank you, Majules. Anyone against? Any comments on it? You can even say thank you if you want to, and I will take that one as well. I see a hand of Alderman Groenewald.
Speaker, thank you for the opportunity. I think those of us, and I'm not being, ek is nie wintie as ek dit sê nie, that knows how drafting of legislation is done. We also would like to commend and compliment that directorate for this. It's a huge task. It's not an easy one. And it's you know, to draft legislation that is applicable, but that's also consumer friendly or client friendly to our people. I really would like to commend them on that. And I would like to propose that they, at the fora, wherever they sit and where they discuss issues like this, that they really should present to our other B municipalities and other municipalities in that forum where they sit and where they discuss issues, that they really present these bylaws. There are some struggling municipalities that really do not have the capacity to draft such very complicated issues regards land use, and they can present it as a generic for other councils to adopt with amendments to suit the local circumstances. But I really think if I was in the chambers today, I would have requested a standing applause for this excellent piece of work. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, Alderman Groenewald. Do I see another hand? Councillor Gous.
Yes, thank you, Speaker. I must say Alderman Groenewald has made it a lot more difficult for me to say what I want to say. But with appreciation as expressed by Alderman Groenewald for the technicalities and the volume of work and the quality of draftsmanship, I have to be in agreement with him about that. Unfortunately, Speaker, as previously, the ACDP in principle opposes many of the very stringent land use planning bylaws, and for that reason, the ACDP will abstain on this item. It's unfortunate that the integrated zoning scheme bylaw is lumped together as one item, but for that reason, the ACDP will abstain on the entire item. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you. With the exception of the ACDP, E2550 of 921 will carry through as an unanimous vote. We go on, councillors, to 251. Permission to initiate negotiations to expropriate or purchase of Earth 21326 Mossel Bay as it is needed for future service delivery road infrastructure. Councillor Gous, that's next to the railway bridge on the Louis Fourie Road, Hartenbos, next to Nicole. I made it I definitely check on it, and that's the right Earth that I'm talking about. Can I have a proposer and a seconder for the buying of this piece of land?
Yes, Speaker, you do have a proposer, Councillor van Dijk.
Thank you, Councillor van Dijk. Do I have a seconder? Councillors, I'm at 251. Can I have a...
I'll second it.
Thank you.
It's been seconded. It's been seconded by Alderman Boyson. That seems to me there was a break in the signal, because I've heard Councillor Anton Delamain, but I take this as Councillor Leon proposed and Councillor Anton, not Councillor Anton, Councillor Boyson be the seconder of that E251. Anyone against?
Speaker, Councillor Gous.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you, Speaker. I'd like to just first of all just draw your attention to the fact that I wasn't being lax earlier on. We really are just seeming to have some difficulty with connectivity. So I thank you for your patience in that. Then, Speaker, I just want to, regarding this item, I notice, thank you very much for your specifics. The ACDP does do their homework, so I'm aware of that. Thank you. I would like to just ask, this item is titled Permission to Negotiate Expropriation or Purchase of Earth 21326. Speaker, I have a problem with the fact that we are lumping together expropriation or purchase. The two are diametrically opposed, and as the item already indicates, the owner is willing to sell or exchange for a property of similar value. So why do we find it necessary to give permission to negotiate expropriation if the item is already quite clear on the fact that the owner is a willing seller or willing to exchange property? If I can just get clarity on that, Speaker, thank you.
Well, I don't have anyone now, but I just want to add something. Maybe it's in the script. I did read it, and I might try to make it my own. But you will be aware of the fact that from Wassenaar Street, or from the people living up top there, and for the new development that's coming up for, I think it's called Renosterbos, there will be a big rise in traffic to Mossel Bay. And that's why the possibility for getting that piece of land to make it easier to do a street or whatever you call it underneath the N2, to open up not an escape route, but a second route for the people of that vicinity, which are blocked every morning by the traffic on Louis Fourie. So that might, in my way of thinking, that might be the answer on that one. So yeah, there's nothing sinister in it. I understand what they're looking for, and I see the hand of Alderman Kotze. Deputy, you can answer as well.
Speaker, yeah, the way I see it is I read here that the person is willing to sell it for 3.2 million, and then it is recommended that the municipality investigate and or enter into negotiations with the owner. So I suppose this is just to give us both options, and that the council or the administration on their side can move forward with the process. I suppose we will have to look at something that is in terms of what's the value? Sorry, the value of the land. It's value based, and that it's not free market based. But yeah, I suppose that is the reason why the item is written in the way it is.
Thank you, Alderman. I see a hand of Alderman Van Groenewald, and then I saw a hand of Councillor Gous. In that order, Councillor Groenewald.
Thank you, Speaker. I think our acting executive manager covered me mostly in his response, but we all know that expropriation is at market value. When the seller doesn't want to sell, we use the market-related value to determine the price. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alderman. And then Councillor Gous.
Thank you, Speaker, and thank you both to Alderman Groenewald and to our acting mayor. I also understood the item like that, but that is my concern. I don't want to just give a blanket permission from council to, if negotiations are not successful, to expropriate, whether that's with compensation or without. So because this item is not being separated, I would have preferred to have seen council informed again after the negotiations were done, and if they were possibly unsuccessful, and then an item for expropriation brought to council. But the ACDP is not going to endorse it exactly as it is here, where expropriation is a possibility. And so for that reason, we will abstain. Thank you, Speaker.
Councillor Gous, you will remind yourself that you said to me last night the ACDP will be back. So I suppose you will be the ACDP candidate and the councillor, and you will have another go on it. This will come back to council after and the new council have to do decisions on that. You must know that everything has got a long strand before it comes back to council for finality. So yeah, you will have the chance to do it. I won't be in the seat then, but I'm definitely sure that will happen, and that's the way we usually do it. I see another hand, and then that's the hand of acting mayor.
Speaker, thank you. Speaker, thank you. Yes, I see that in terms of the recommendations, number 5, that an item with the outcome of the negotiations be referred back to council for decision. So what Councillor Gous asked was exactly what's going to happen.
Nee, my krag is mos af man. Nou ek maar my tablet nou hier nie. Ja, ek maar sommer
Councillor Cliffy, that's not part of our agenda. Can you please mute yourself? Okay, we've been there. Councillor Gous, you had your chance, one short knock.
Thank you, Speaker. Then I'm not going to belabor the point. The ACDP will still abstain on the item. Thank you.
Yeah.
Because the final decision does not, sorry, Speaker, the final decision doesn't, I saw that the item will come to council for a final decision, but the final decision doesn't say that it will be only about the negotiations. That final decision that's presented to council might already be about expropriation. So for that reason, the ACDP abstains. Thank you, Speaker.
We will note that by the ACDP, Eve 252. Just 1 second. Now, 251 will carry through as an unanimous vote with the exception of the ACDP. The next one then is 252, proposed elimination of Earth 3080, situated adjacent to Earth 317 Boyana Street, Kwanonga Methodist Church of South Africa. Can I have a proposer and a seconder to lay this to the table?
Speaker, Nicholas,
Yes,
will
Speaker.
I propose E252?
Proposed by Alderman Nicholas Boyson. Can I have a seconder on that one?
I will second my my colleague on the item E252, Speaker.
Thank you, Alderman Cliffy. Anyone else? No one? Then E252 carries through as an unanimous vote. Thank you, councillors. I'm at E253, where Director Carl Venter gives us a notice that he will recuse himself. Then I'm at 253, can I have a proposer and a seconder for the proposed amendment of the lease agreement leasing a portion of 3419, the Mossel Bay Point Discovery Center. You know my way of thinking. I see Mossel Bay as the cradle of service delivery, where everything have started, and we are even the cradle of mankind, except for Mrs. Pless, that the Transwaalers would say, no, I'm wrong. But if you go to the Pinnacle Point Caves and see for yourself, then I'm obliged to say, yes, that is the cradle of mankind. And that's what this Discovery Center is for. Can I have a proposer and seconder on E253, proposed amendment?
Thank you, Speaker. I propose.
Proposed by Councillor Anton. Can I have a seconder for that one?
I second, Speaker.
Thank you. Is there anyone that have something to say about it? Seems to me there's no signal problem. No one put up his hand. I want to thank you, councillors. E253 then carries through as an unanimous vote. I'm at 254, renewal of a lease agreement of an Earth 14100 situated at McKinnery Street, extension 15, Hyderabad, Mossel Bay. That's a Mossel Bay round table, and Councillor Mark Furness, he recused himself on E254. Can I have a proposer and a seconder for tabling of E254?
Yes, you have a proposer, Speaker, Councillor Leon van Dijk.
Councillor Leo van Dijk, do I have a seconder?
Councillor Malombo, seconder.
Councillor Malombo, I thank you very much. Seeing that from both sides of the sorry, we had a proposer and a seconder, so I suppose there's no one against it. Then it will carry through as an unanimous vote. Councillor Gou, sorry, I've missed your hand.
That's okay, thank you. Speaker, I just wanted to draw your attention to the fact that when this item appeared in the committees, I asked a question regarding the conditions of the lease and whether political parties were allowed to host meetings at the round table. And legal services undertook to give me an answer which I have not received. I would appreciate it if we could get that answer now then. Thank you, Speaker.
Just 1 second. Is daar antwoord? Not at this point in time. I've been there in many of those things you're talking about, and I banked the money, and there was no, and I signed for payments. Never ever was a payment made to Round Table for the use of that hall in McKinley Street, and that I will put my head on a block. Seeing that there's no another answer, not under other answers on that one. Anyone else?
Thank you for that. Speaker, may I just say thank you for that answer and for your honesty. And then may I also just note that, or bring it to the attention of council, that I have on several occasions seen DA T-shirts and DA paraphernalia meetings held at that building. I'm not going to belabor the point because then we get accused of cheap politicking. I'm just saying that perhaps that is then a consideration that needs to be looked at in the lease agreements, because there are certain advantages that accrue to certain groups that are not equally given to other political parties. So thank you, Speaker.
Yeah, I said to you, I was there, and I was there for several occasions. I don't wear a T-shirt. I don't look good in it. That's why I don't wear a T-shirt, but I can, without any doubt, tell you there was no money ever paid for being there. And I think it's a little far-fetched. Then say to me, I cannot bring into my house, even if I rent it, the people I want there, and anyone else cannot decide on that. So please don't be playing nitty-gritty stuff with us. I think you bigger than that. I see a hand from Councillor Groenewald.
No, thank you, Speaker. On a lighter note, I would just like to remind us all of our constitutional right of freedom of association. If somebody would like to associate with somebody else, they are free to do that. Thank you. On a lighter note, thank you.
Thank you. Then
Speaker, if you will allow me to just clarify.
One last one. You know, you're entitled to only one speech, but yeah, I'll give you this last one.
I appreciate that. Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, may I say, I hear what you're saying, and I hear what Alderman Groenewald is saying. Freedom of association is true. But I'm saying, in consideration of the fact that this is a building that is being leased from a municipal, non-political organization at a reduced rate to an organization, that we should in the future consider that be a condition of lease, that municipal property not be used for free political gatherings for specific political parties, any political party, and by that I'm including the ACDP. I do not think it's fair to give a building to an organization at a reduced rate because they're acting in public interest when it's actually being used to host political party meetings. So that is my point. Please, I don't want us to look at a specific political party. I am mentioning a principle, and I'm asking the councillors to consider it in principle, not as politics, but a principle that a municipal building leased to an organization at a reduced rate, that there be a restriction on them hosting political parties in that building, whether that political party pays for the meeting or not. That's the point I'm trying to make.
Can you conclude, please?
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's my conclusion. Thank you, Speaker.
Next one. E255. The Honours Bylaw, All Saints Brigade recommendation certificate. E255. Honours Bylaw, All Saints Brigade commendation certificate. Okay, sorry for that one. Do I have a proposer and seconder for it?
Speaker, thank you. I would gladly propose.
Thank you. It's proposed by Deputy Mayor Dirk Coetzee, Alderman. Do I have a second for it?
I will second it, Speaker.
Thank you. I must tell you, councillors, having seen this morning that old guy that's with the brigade for more than 50 years and the pride and aura I had with him being, as I said, the pride for his brass ensemble. I think they did a job well done in the past and will go on to that. And I don't have a vote on this, of not a vote, but I would love you to put this through as an unanimous vote. Thank you very much. Anyone abide with that? I don't hear anything. Then E255 of 9/2021 carries through as an unanimous vote. Councillors, we're almost at the end. We're at E256. Approval of the audit committee terms of reference. Can I have a proposer and a second for that one?
Speaker, I will propose Mark Venice.
Councillor Mark, thank you for proposing it. And do I have a seconder?
Yes, Speaker. I will second it.
Thank you. Kannemeyer. Or was it Erika? Sorry, Erika, that was a little unaudible. Anyone else on it? No, I only hear papers. And then E256 of 09/2021. Approval of the audit committee terms of reference will carry through as an unanimous vote. Then we're at 257, alleged breach of code of conduct for Councillor Comfort. Can I have a proposer and a seconder on that one?
Speaker, I propose 257, Class Boyson.
Proposed by Alderman Boyson. Can I have a seconder on it?
Yes, Speaker. Councillor Kannemeyer second.
Okay, you've read through it, and then it will go to the committee. And
Speaker.
Councillor Gous.
Thank you, Speaker. Speaker, in my opinion, this is this is a very difficult situation because we have a DA majority in the disciplinary committee. And while I do not think that Councillor Comfort has acted in any way to bring the municipality into disrepute, he has, it can be considered that he has brought the DA into disrepute. And this item on the council agenda seems to me that it's an attempt by the DA to punish him for that. The ACDP does not support that he be investigated for this. He acted fully within his rights as a councillor of this municipality, but also, Speaker, as a representative of a political party, and attempts to silence a political party by draconian measures such as saying, even if it's a closed council session, to tell someone that they may not, a political representative may not make a media release, is completely contrary to the whole point of having a representative in council. And in any case, the ACDP is of the opinion that this matter should have been held in an open council meeting. Unfortunately, I was on leave during this time, so I was not able to express that at the meeting. So the ACDP really feels that this is a malicious and it's a petty attempt to punish Councillor Comfort for actually just responding to a media request for comment. Thank you, Speaker.
Councillor Gous, I take exception on what you said. About the members of that committee. I don't think you will go that low, but you did, and I don't like it. I want you to withdraw what you've said. Otherwise, I'll have to, on the last few days, bring you in as well, and I don't want to do that. I don't want to go out on high. I see the hands of Councillor Fortuin, I see the hands of Alderman Kotze, and I see a hand of Councillor Boyson, and in that order. And then Councillor Gous, I'll give you a short one afterwards to reply. Councillor Fortuin, you may have the floor.
Speaker, thank you. Speaker, the councillor of the ICDP is quite correct when she says she was not part of that meeting. So council mustn't be misled this morning. When we speak, we must speak factual and we must speak truthfully. Speaker, Councillor Campbell was part of the council decisions regarding the whole process. And whereas councillors are committed to adhere to the code of conduct, we know what the council decision was, and it was clear in terms of confidentiality. Councillor Campbell acted outside that council decision, and therefore is indeed in breach of the code of conduct for councillors. So the ICDP mustn't mislead the public in terms of the factual reality of what Councillor Campbell did wrong. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you, older lady. The next one, Deputy Mayor.
Speaker, thank you. Yes, and I see Councillor Gouse's hands up already to try and also turn everything that we've said according to what she liked. But yeah, unfortunately, I agree with my colleague. We are a party of law and order. It is actually sad that the councillor expect of council to have council meetings. The administration of this organization is not politicians. We as politicians has got the right to say what we like within council meetings, but not about the people who work for this organization. They are not politicians. So I think it's high time that we start respecting the people who work for this organization. And whenever there is a case like this, you can't find people guilty if they're not yet guilty. So when we discuss this stuff, unfortunately, that is in committee, and that's the way it's always been working, and that's the way it will work in future as well, because people have got right to their privacy. They've also got rights, not only we as councillors who's politicking, the people in this organization who work for this organization has got rights, and we can't trample or just walk over that rights. So I think that's the first thing. The second thing is the disciplinary committee. The last time around, Councillor Campbell went out and had a lot to say about the findings, but he did not appeal it. So what does that mean? He's got the right to appeal whatever that conclusion is. He did not appeal that. So that means that he actually accepted the findings. And this time around, we're just following the rules. We also don't want to go this route because it's right out in front of the election. So we know that everybody's now going to try and say, yeah, the DA is trying to do this or that, or trying to get to Councillor Comfort. Councillor Comfort did not follow the rules that we all signed for, we all signed up for. We all know what the rules are. If we don't like it, we don't need to be here. We're all more than welcome to leave. Yeah, so I'm going to stop there. But the matter of fact is we can't be judge and jury. I agree with that. People have got their rights. So if Councillor Comfort feel that his right is not being looked after by the disciplinary committee, where he's also represented by a legal person, then he can appeal that decision, Speaker. So I think that's very important that we just say that to each other, and the fact that we are just following the rules. Nobody's been found guilty in this council meeting. It's referred because we follow due process. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Next one is Councillor Alderman Boyson.
Speaker, that I think that was a mouthful what the mayor was saying. It was just what I want to say is this is a process, Speaker. I hear what Councillor Gous was saying. This is the first step. If Councillor Comfort is innocent, it's not what say if we put this in council today, he's guilty. No, there will be a fair process. A fair process to defend him. If it is like a Councillor Gous was saying, then the committee must make this. Then the committee doesn't make the guilty finding. It comes back to council, and it's just an investigation to see. And this is the first step for the investigation. That's I want to say, President. There's a process in this whole Ellis breach of code of conduct. So it's not today to say he's guilty like Councillor Gous was saying. It's just a process today, and we must follow the process. If he's not guilty, then up to that, then he's not guilty. I thank you.
Thank you. And Councillor Gous, I will give you the last word then, but all right, you can have your last word, and then afterwards that will be Councillor or Alderman Groenewald, and I will conclude with that. Councillor Gous.
Thank you, Speaker. I appreciate the opportunity. I hear what my colleagues are saying. May I just, on a point basis, say, firstly, I agree with Acting Mayor that councillors enjoy immunity in the council chambers, which I also enjoy today while I speak on this item. What I do also understand, Speaker, is that while we enjoy immunity in council, what we say outside the council chambers we can be taken on about, and I accept that fully and completely. But what happened in this instance, while I wasn't there, I know how the process works. So a majority vote decided in that closed committee meeting. Unless Councillor Comfort also voted to be silent and to keep complete silence about what was discussed there, then I feel he would have been silenced by a majority vote, which would not be fair. Then the second thing that I just want to say, and this is because this is the only opportunity I'm going to get to say anything on this matter, because the disciplinary committee, as I mentioned, is solely, I think it's just DA and ANC members. So, Speaker, I would like to then say, I do not see that there was a breach of the code of conduct because he did not bring the municipality into disrepute by answering a journalist's questions. I understand that we owe, and I have high respect for our ex-MM Taste Khilumia, but it wasn't it was the salary, his parting salary that was discussed, and not whether he was guilty or not. So I'd like us to just be aware of that.
You don't know what's happening and why was now what the alleged breach was. I want you to conclude. You have almost 2 minutes spoken on this one, and you've only allowed 1 minute. So please conclude.
Thank you, Speaker. So I just want to state that I feel that he did not breach the code of conduct, and for that reason, the ACDP will not support an investigation against an alleged breach of the code of conduct. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you. Alderman Groenewald, you will be the last speaker on this item.
Thank you so much, Speaker, for the opportunity. I would like to refer us to the conduct of councillors in terms of Section 38, and more specifically Section 38.1.13 of our Rules of Procedure. To make an allegation, statement, or remark that is unbecoming of a councillor or injures or impairs the dignity or honour of a councillor or employee of the municipality. That should not happen. Now, why I'm saying this and why I'm quoting this is that to refer to the disciplinary committee or from the onset that it's a political animal that must consider to ensure that justice will prevail is wrong. We cannot make a statement or any innuendo by anyone that really impairs the dignity of those people that are apolitical and that will ensure that justice will prevail. The legal processes are in place. It's there for everyone to exercise their rights, to confront whatever allegation is against them. And let's honor that. If I now think that the members of the Disciplinary Council of Council or the Disciplinary Committee for Councillors of Council of the Code of Conduct is politically inclined, then there's something extremely wrong. I've got full trust in the members of that Disciplinary Committee, and I'm not thinking politically wise, not at all. I fully trust their competency to be objective. There is a rule of natural justice, audi alteram partem, and there's an opportunity for everyone to put his case forward. To say that that committee or whatever, when they consider whatever issue, disciplinary issue or the transgression of a code of conduct, will be politically inclined or colored in a specific color, that is not on. Thank you, Speaker.
Thank you. That concludes the E257 with the exception of ACDP. This carries through as an unanimous vote. Thank you, councillors. And then
Speaker,
councillors.
would you allow me to just offer my apology to the, would you allow me just 30 seconds to clarify my, I just want to offer an apology to the disciplinary committee, Speaker, if that is the way they took what I said. I did not mean to impinge. I respect every single person in our council. So I withdraw that if that is what they feel I was saying when I said that. That is not what my intention was. My clarity was, Speaker, on this. In my opinion, it was offensive to the DA and it wasn't a conduct, a discretion against the municipality. That was the point I was trying to make. So if the disciplinary committee feels that I was impinging on their integrity, then I withdraw that unreservedly. That was never my intention. I have complete respect for my fellow councillors. Thank you for that.
Thank you, Councillor Gous. There's now another two hands. I've made the ruling that that will be the last one. But seeing that I'm on my way out, I will give you one short knock, each of you, Councillor van Dijk and Alderman Groenewald. Please keep it short. There's still one 258 to have come to the party.
Speaker, thank you. I take exception to the comments of Councillor Gous. During the course of this entire meeting, things are often said, and then there's an apology at the end. Maybe the councillor should think what is being said before she starts saying things, then to allude to indiscretion, because at this stage, you have tarnished the reputation and the credibility of the chairperson and also the committee. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Leon. Alderman Groenewald, you will be the last one.
Thank you, Speaker. I note the withdrawal of that could be perceived as an innuendo. I note that, and thank you for that. And thank you, Speaker. Your ruling is the last on this matter. Thank you so much, Speaker. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, Councillor. That almost concludes our day. I don't have it with me. There's 258, the food pantry. That was one that came in late. Can I have a proposer and a seconder? Did I miss out on 258? Yeah, that's the one I'm now looking for, talking about 258, the food pantry.
No.
Okay, there's another one. I made a mistake, and that's not 258. It's not for the food pantry. The proposed amendments of microstructure, water and sanitation. That was on the next page, and I didn't turn over. Can I have a proposer and a seconder for 258 proposed amendments of microstructure, water and sanitation?
Thank you, Speaker. I will propose.
Proposed by Councillor Anton Delamain. Seconded by?
Thank you, Speaker. Second by Councillor Annie Jansen for Rensburg.
Thank you, Councillor Anton and Annetjie. Any comments on this microstructure of water and sanitation, proposed amendments? When I went through it, I thought that's to the better of it. Seeing that no one is against it, 258 will then carry through as an unanimous vote. Then the one I don't have, do you have it, Tertia, the food pantry? Establishment of a Mossel Bay food bank, and I said food pantry. I made a mistake in my assumption that it was food pantry. Establishment of a Mossel Bay food bank. Can I have a proposer and seconder on that one?
Speaker, I propose the item for approval. Thank you.
Thank you, older lady. Can I have a seconder on it?
Thank you, Speaker. I second Elder Lady Fortuyn's item.
Seconded by Councillor Annie, and then Tertia. Thank you very much for putting this one on the screen. I didn't have it. So, is there anyone that have something to say or against it? Then Alderman Groenewald.
Thank you, Speaker, for the opportunity. I would just like to share with my colleagues. We yesterday had our last Garden Route Council meeting, and we had various presentations and handover reports from all departments, community services, whatever the case may be. And I would just like to share with people, I don't know if they really know what the Garden Route Food Pantry does. And I would just like to share something with my colleagues here and with the public. They are really doing extremely good work. You know, it all also, what I want to say is, did you know, those of us that grew up with chappies, we always read that little papers on the did you know chappie paper. So I would like to say, did you know that the Garden Route District Pantry provides meals for more than 40,000 learners every day within the region? Every day, more than 40,000 meals for learners in the region. And that's not all they do. And that's why I had the privilege to say that, you know, from my side as Speaker at Garden Route, I donated a fifth of my allowance at Garden Route to that food pantry. They really service equally everyone. And I can give stats, and I know that the report says also at the Mossel Bay Municipality on the allocation of what they do with the foodstuffs that they receive in every town and city within the region. And I would just like to add this, to say that let's please keep on supporting also that food pantry. And that let's put all our weight, let's throw all our weight also in our Mossel Bay food pantry. Because there are many hungry people, undeserved. Hulle verdien dit nie, that goes to sleep hungry every night. And whatever we can do, we must. If you've got an extra blanket, if you've got an extra little tin of whatever the case may be, foodstuff, think about those that do not have it. And for that, thank you for the opportunity, Speaker. I hope I'm not out of line, but I just wanted to share this information with everyone. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alderman Groenewald, with that last words of wisdom. I want to declare E259 of 09/2021 as an unanimous vote. I thank you, councillors. I see a hand of Councillor Gous. Would you like to make a donation, Councillor Gous? I'm open for that.
Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you for the opportunity, Speaker. I am involved with several soup kitchens directly in Mossel Bay. But Speaker, that is not why I raised my hand. I wanted to say, Speaker, because this is essentially our last meeting of this term. I heard you did reference a special council meeting, but none of us are assured of tomorrow. Each day of our lives is in the hands of the Lord. And so if you will give me 2 minutes, I know I've spoken a lot in this council meeting today, Speaker. I would like to just say au revoir, if I may.
Yeah, you may. I've got at 12 o'clock another meeting, so please, snappy.
It will be a short one. Thank you, Speaker. Let me first just note that I find it sad that we were not able to sit beside each other today. After 5.5 years of being a part of this council, and the good and the rough times like today, but also other times that we have weathered together as a council, I would have preferred to sit face to face as we saw each other for the last meeting of this term. Speaker, all can attest that the ACDP has been a thorn in the side of the governing party as well as some of the opposition parties. However, I believe that we have, and even today, attempted to always act honourably, respectfully, and in the interest of our community and in the interest of justice. And so I also want to thank Council for the ACDP recommendations that have been accepted at times and implemented, some of them a few years later. But we rejoice to see our town flourish, and that is what we all have in common, I believe. As our acting mayor has said, much has been done and much more remains to be done. The ACDP has a vision for our town, and we look forward to the opportunity to work towards that in the new term, God willing. So to my fellow councillors, while I've differed with you often in matters before this council, I have not done so without difficulty. Because as I have engaged with each of you personally and come to know and appreciate you better, and as individuals, it has been more difficult to oppose not you, but items in the council chambers when I have felt that in principle I could not agree. But most importantly, Speaker, allow me to extend not only thanks, but really extreme appreciation for Advocate Thys Gilomere in his absence, Director Venter, Director Nel, Director Naidu, Director Jantjies, the Manager of Strategic Services, Mr. Puren, and our newish CFO, Director Fredericks. I want to thank them for their kindness, their patience and assistance. I value them not only as masters of their work, but also for their spirit of excellence, Speaker, in attending to the matters that are under their command. Your management of this municipality, directors, has garnered national recognition and much praise from residents and visitors alike. And we as council often receive the praise that is actually due to you and the staff that you manage so well in accomplishing the rendering of the services. So to every official and employee of this municipality, you are not unnoticed. The ACDP is very aware and thankful of every nighttime service repair, every extra mile that you always walk to achieve this municipality of note. Without you, this municipality would not be able to receive the rewards that it has so far. And the ACDP will be honoured to work with you in the next term should the residents see fit to return the ACDP to this council. Speaker, I want to thank you also for the manner in which you have conducted council meetings, granting each political party an opportunity to express a view that was sometimes contrary to your own, but in the spirit of fairness and transparency, you allowed such expression, and I'd like to thank you for that. And then, yes, as I said earlier, this season too shall pass, and hopefully we will meet again in the new term. Thank you, Speaker. To those of you that will not be returning, goodbye.
Councillor Ghost, just one thing you have said. On the council meeting, the special council meeting on the 22nd will not be a virtual one. We cannot go each one on his own way if they haven't greeted each other or one another. And there might be a cup of coffee or a cup of tea afterwards. So please keep that in mind, councillors. I don't see any hands. I thank you for contributing, councillors, and then this will be the end of the day. This meeting will be adjourned as from now. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Speaker. Bye.
Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.